The appointed.
We ask you to bless our military and first responders around the world, especially those currently in harm's way. We ask of you this evening to help us in our decisions for the community, for all of our people, based on the sound advice and information given to us for a safe and economically viable county. We know that you will guide us for the betterment of all, if only we ask of you. We humbly now ask and do so in your name, Jesus' name.
Mr. Chairman, our corporation group of Talking Township was supposed to be here tonight, but our track and field did better than what we were expecting. So they are in meets tonight, so they won't be here. So I'm going to substitute.
So you have to give the pledge.
Yeah, apparently I'm the slowest runner. Yes. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The clerk will call the roll. The clerk will call.
Thank you. Pierce?
Here.
Kennedy?
Right.
Constant?
Here.
Dasco? Here. Dina?
Here.
Journal?
Here.
Deputy?
Here.
Lucas Williams?
Here.
Forsythe?
Here.
Frazee?
Here.
Fulgenzi?
Here.
Guyton?
Here.
Paul?
Yes.
Crump? Here. Here. Nathan? Here. Madonia?
Here.
McGuire?
Here.
Mendenhall?
Here.
Miller?
Here.
Rader?
Here.
Scaife?
Here.
Shackman?
Here.
Shepherd?
Here.
Small?
Here.
Stump?
Here.
Thomas?
Here.
Chumlin?
Here.
Truax?
Here.
And the chairman's present. So currently 28 with one to come.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. One of your fellow board members, Tim Krell, has notified both the chair and the clerk that he wishes to attend this meeting by telephone conference. This is allowed under the Open Meetings Act if a quorum of this body is present, which it is, and if a majority of the board, at least 15 members, vote to allow it. Mr. Krell is prevented from physically attending this meeting for a cause recognized by the Open Meetings Act as one warranting participation via telephone conference. The chair will now entertain a motion to allow Mr. Krell to participate via telephone conference. Motion by Mr. Darnell, seconded by Mr. Madonia. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Krell, welcome to the meeting.
Thank you.
The chair asks the clerk to revise the roll call to reflect that Mr. Krell is participating in this meeting via telephone conference as allowed by the Open Meetings Act, and he is considered present at this meeting for purposes of determining a quorum and participating in all proceedings. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Motion by Mr. Madonia, second by Mr. Del Giorno for the approval of the minutes of the February 10th, 2026 meeting. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. Motion by Mr. Del Giorno, second by Mr. Madonia to place correspondence on file with the clerk. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Correspondence will be placed on file. Clerk, resolutions. Resolution number 1. Mr. Clerk.
Number 1, resolution approving the final plat of Guider Minor subdivision.
Motion by Mr. Mendenhall, seconded by Mr. Chumlin, to place resolution 1 before the board. Questions, comments from members of the board on resolution 1? Seeing none, all in favor, clerk will call the roll on resolution 1.
Ayers.
Yes.
Cameron.
Yes.
Constant.
Yes.
Dasco. Diener.
Yes.
Del Giorno. Deputy.
Aye.
Lucas Williams. Forsythe. Frazier. Fulgenzi. Guyton. Paul.
Yes.
Brown. Aye. Latham. Madonia.
Aye.
Dwyer. Mendenhall.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Rader.
Aye.
Skate.
Aye.
Shackman.
Aye.
Shepherd.
Aye.
Small.
Aye.
Stump.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Chumlin. Truax.
Aye.
All 28 approved.
All those voting having voted in the affirmative, resolution number 1 is adopted. Next, without objection, we'll proceed out of the regular order for the convenience of the second zoning matter on our agenda tonight, so that they may be considered first. That's resolution number 3. Mr. Clerk, please read resolution 3.
Resolution 3, 2026-001, CSMB Investments LLC, 3491 Cockrell Lane, Springfield, minor rezoning.
Motion by Ms. Scape, seconded by Ms. Decker, to place resolution 3 before the board. This is the zoning portion of the meeting. It's our policy to ask in general, are there members of the audience who feel it's necessary, who wish to speak in opposition to the proposed zoning? In opposition, seeing none, are there members of the audience who feel it's necessary to speak in support of the proposed zoning? Seeing none. Questions or comments from members of the board on the zoning? Seeing none. On the question, all those in favor of adopting the zoning, signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The zoning is adopted. Now, proceeding to resolution 2. I suspect it may take a little longer than resolution 3. First of all, to the members of the audience, we're sorry we don't have enough seats. Maybe as the day goes on, there will be more seats available. There is water available in the back of the room and also outside here. People finally need water. Next, I know we have a number of enthusiastic people who spent some time making signs. Those people with signs, signs are really not allowed under our rules, but we know you spent the day making the signs, so if you'd all hold your signs up so everybody can see them, and show them to the back of the room and front of the room. Thank you. Thank you. You know, if you please put your signs down and please keep them down. People can't see when you put the signs up, so it's a courtesy of them. Please keep your signs down. If you just can't resist the urge to put your signs up, the security will have to remove the signs. So thank you all for that. All right. Next, we have an organizing motion to organize this evening's discussion of the zoning matter. Mr. Madonia and Mr. Del Giorno. Mr. Madonia.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chairman, on behalf of Mr. Del Giorno and myself, I move that we modify the process set forth in section 2.04.250 of our code when considering the data center resolution, and that the board members be held to strict compliance with section 2.04.140 of our code as to the data center resolution. 2 zoning resolutions are before the board tonight, and the bulk of the time spent on these will concern the data center. Thus, so as not to unduly inconvenience, okay, I'll skip that, I already did that. All right, section 2.04.250 allows proponent and opponents of a zoning resolution 2-minute initial presentations and 1-minute rebuttals. Given the issues raised by the data center resolution, slightly modifying this process will allow the points of the proponents and opponents to be presented concisely, while still allowing others interested in offering non-repetitive public comment the opportunity they so deserve. Section 2.04.140 allows board members to speak not more than 2 times on any given topic, for a total speaking time not to exceed 5 minutes. Given the time expected to be consumed by those speaking on the data center resolution, it is important that these limits on board members be enforced so that the total time spent on this resolution does not become excessive. Thus, in particular, our motion is as follows. 1, the data center resolution be moved out of regular order of business as second resolution the board considers tonight. 2, the petitioner be allowed 10 minutes for its initial presentation in support of granting the zoning request. 3, that Lori McKernan, on behalf of the Coalition for Springfield's Utility Future, be allowed 10 minutes for her initial presentation in opposition to granting the zoning request. 4, that the petitioner be allowed 10 minutes for its second presentation in support of granting that zoning request. 5, that Lori McKernan, on behalf of the Coalition for Springfield's Utility Future, be allowed 10 minutes for a second presentation in opposition to granting the zoning request. 6, that the petitioner be allowed 10 minutes for his third presentation in support of granting the zoning request. 7, that Lori McKernan, on behalf of the Coalition for Springfield's Utility Future, be allowed 10 minutes for a third presentation in opposition to granting the zoning request. 8, that all persons who have not yet spoken and wish to make public comment be allowed 2 minutes each to make public comment in favor of or in opposition to the zoning request. 9, that all petitioners other than petitioner and Lori McKernan who wish to rebut statements previously made be allowed 1 minute each to do so. 10, that Lori McKernan, on behalf of the Coalition for Springfield's Utility Future, be allowed a total of 5 minutes to rebut statements previously made and to present concluding comments in opposition to the zoning request. 11, that the petitioner be allowed a total of 5 minutes to rebut statements previously made and to present concluding comments in support of the zoning request. 12, that section 2.04.140's requirement that board members speak not more than 2 times on any given topic for a total speaking time not to exceed 5 minutes be strictly enforced by the chairman in regard to the data center resolution. And 13, that time spent by board members in directing questions to any speaker and to any speaker responding to those questions not be considered when determining whether a speaker's allotted time has expired. To send it session, Tony.
To the extent necessary, I could write second that motion after I.
Thank you, Mr. Beltrano and Mr. Judge. On the organizing motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The organizing motion is agreed to. May I ask the members of the audience in the back, can you hear us okay? Are we speaking loud enough? No. Okay. All right. We will try to speak. Is that better? Yes. All right. We'll try to speak louder. All right. So under our rules, we've allotted up to 30 minutes in 10-minute segments for the organized presentations for the proponents and the opponents. They do not need to use all of that time, and they've informed us they do not think they will use all of that time. So once we are finished with that portion, we will proceed to public comment, and anyone here tonight will be allowed to address the board. Okay, proceeding in the regular order according to the motion. The initial presentation is from the proponents, 10 minutes, and we have a crack team of timekeepers here keeping the time. Ms. Deputy.
I'd like to make a motion to table this until the state has more information.
Is Ms. Deputy's mic on?
Is it on now? I'd like to make a motion to table this until we have more information from the state.
Is there a second to the motion? Is there a second? Is there a second to the motion to table?
I would like to second that.
There is a second. Motion to table. The motion to table is not debatable. All those in favor of the motion to table vote yes. Opposed will vote no. The clerk will call the roll.
Ayers,
Yes.
Campbell,
No.
Constant,
Yes.
Dabsco,
No.
Peter. Deljono,
No.
Debbie,
Yes.
Douglas Williams,
Yes.
Forsythe,
Yes.
Frazee,
No.
Fulgenzi,
Yes.
Guyton,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Correll,
No.
Latham,
No.
Madonia,
No.
McGuire,
No.
Mendenhall,
Yes.
Miller,
No.
Rader,
No.
Scaife,
Yes.
Shackman, Shepherd,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Stumpf,
No.
Thomas,
No.
Chumlin,
Yes.
Truax.
No.
Thirteen yes, 15 no.
Yeah.
Proceeding in the regular order according to the motion adopted by the board, we have a 10-minute presentation, up to 10-minute presentation from the proponents. Please proceed.
I'm just gonna check the clicker here, make sure it's working. I know last time I was up here, it cost me some time here. Let me just. Okay. Good evening, my name is Brad Hout with Cyrus One. Thank you all for spending some time tonight to hear our final presentation regarding the proposed data center here in Sangamon County. A lot of these slides I've already presented before at previous meetings, including the public forum in December and the zoning hearing. So I'll run through some of the stuff that I presented previously relatively quickly. So a matter of background, Cyrus One is a global data center owner, operator, and developer based in Dallas, Texas, and we operate 55 locations across the globe. This opportunity presents an opportunity to expand our campus here into central Illinois. We currently operate a number of facilities in the Chicagoland region, where we also employ over 100 employees and other several hundred contractors as well. So a little bit about the site. I think most people are familiar, but for those that aren't, this is in the southern portion of the county, 280 acres on Thayer Road, approximately 2 miles west of Lauder, 4 miles southeast of Waverly, and 7 miles from Auburn, Thayer, and Verdon. Directly adjacent to the Double Black Diamond Solar Farm. We selected this site because of its proximity to infrastructure, noting the existing substation that's there just a half mile south of our site, and the 345 kV corridor that's along there as well. The site plan lays out like this. It's 450,000 square foot buildings. This will be built out over multiple years. Each building will take about 12 to 15 months to construct from start to finish. 4 to 6 years of construction in building out this campus. Previously, we had a 6-building campus shown. We revised that to address some of the early concerns we heard about lack of open space. This new design allows us to free up about 20 acres at the western end of our campus. It allows us to consolidate much more under one roof and allows us to be more water efficient. This design is roughly 20% more efficient than our earlier design, which we did to help address some of the concerns we heard early on about water. Setbacks, so the benefit of this site is it has significant setbacks from existing residential. There's a few dimensions there called out. On the east side and the west side, the closest residences you see are actually unoccupied. And so those are unoccupied. The closest occupied residence is a little bit further to the south, that 2,510 foot dimension. That property owner owns the property to the north. With our two nearest property owners, we have cooperation with them and understandings in place. As you move around the site to the northern side, the setbacks get further and further, but generally they're well over 1,000 feet in all directions. There's been a lot of talk about recently in some of the local publications and previously in others And at our public forum, I talked a little bit about Aurora, and we talked about it at the zoning board of appeals meeting. But I thought it was important to bring it up again and just address some information as relates to this campus. So we do have a noise issue at this campus that we've been working to address over the past several months. We were made aware of an issue back in April of last year and immediately went into action to put into place some remedial measures as it relates to noise. And that project has been ongoing and will be completed in September. It's currently ongoing right now. That campus we bought in 2016 and expanded it through 2024. We've held 5 community meetings during this process, and we've posted a full updates in the history of that on our website over the course of the past year. So if there's any questions about the process or the history on this, it's on our website and it has been for the last year. There's one important distinction to make between this campus and the one in Sangamon County. As you can see within that half-mile radius, there's 175 to 200 single-family homes around that campus. When you contrast it to the site in Sangamon, that first circle is a half-mile radius. There's 0 occupied residences within a half-mile radius of the campus in Sangamon County. This is intentional. We want to make sure that our sites are well located and that we are learning from other issues that we've had in the past. Additionally, all of the measures that we've taken to mitigate noise on the campus in Aurora are already in the design for this campus here in Sangamon County. This will be new construction. We're using state-of-the-art methods. We'll have chiller walls and generator walls incorporated. We've done noise modeling to confirm that the design for this site will meet county and IEPA noise standards, and we'll do additional confirmatory measurements at building permit issuance and at completion. This is an example rendering of what the site looks like, and then just another elevation of what this looks like in plan view, showing the chiller mitigation walls and the generator walls. We've talked many times about water usage. Just the headlines: 4,616 gallons per day across the entire campus. Once completed, water is provided by the Apple Creek Rural Water Cooperative. Around this time last year, the county board started the process of enacting special requirements for data centers. And that was passed and approved. The list of them are up there on the screen. This guided our design from the very beginning when we started this process several months ago. Our proposed site plan meets all of the existing ordinance requirements. The planning commission staff found that the application met all standards for approval. And in February, the zoning board of appeals approved the project 5-0. Additionally, we've been made aware of some additional changes that are contemplated to the data center ordinance. We've had a chance to review these, and we sent a letter on March 22nd confirming that we are already meeting these regulations or will be complying with them in the future. With respect to jobs, this is a 4 to 6 year project requiring the work of at least 500 skilled construction workers. And it's part of the reason why we selected this site, because we knew of the strong workforce that exists here and the population that's here today that can serve this project. We agreed to enter into a project labor agreement to make sure that all work that's provided on this project is by local labor unions. There may not be enough people to serve this project today, and so we're supporting pre-apprentice programs to make sure that there's a new workforce that can come in and support this project as we build it out. Once it's operational, we have 100 permanent positions serving this data center campus on a daily basis. They're entry level to highly technical roles. The salary positions are $65,000 to $150,000 per year, and we have some hourly positions for people who are looking for more temporary work. There's a role for essentially everybody in all backgrounds with this project. With respect to economic impact, a minimum $500 million investment over that time period, a minimum. And I say that because it could very well be much more than that. That we did not ask for a property tax abatement for this. We never asked for an NDA to be signed by any of the county board members or any of the agencies that we worked with. This investment produces $6 million annually in property tax revenue for the taxing districts shown on the right-hand side. That's close to $100 million over 20 years. In addition to this, we're voluntarily contributing an additional $15 million in community benefits that I'm going to run through now. I don't realize there's a bit of a... Water. I don't know why the formatting is messed up. With respect to water, we're investing $7 to $9 million as part of our contract with with Apple Creek to provide water to this facility. The bigger investment that we're making is in the dredging of Waverly Lake. Waverly Lake has seen sediment introduced into the lake over time and requires dredging. There's no public funding currently available for that work, and so our participation on the private side to get that job done is going to help everybody in that region that relies on that lake for water. It's incredibly impactful for the folks that are served by the rural co-op and by the city of Waverly water source. We're going to require 2 diverse fiber line extensions. Those unlock the possibility for fiber service along those routes, so places that didn't previously have fiber before can have it once these lines are put into place. With respect to the fire protection district, we met with the Verdon Fire District, who was the one who provide the fire service, or fire protection service to our campus. We've committed to fund the purchase of a new ladder truck. Some of the other surrounding fire districts currently do have ladder trucks. They did not. There's a clear, they have a clear need for that to serve this project, so we've committed to purchase that for them. Additionally, we're offering variable grants for equipment upgrades and training based on need to other MABUS Division 48 districts, and that'll be facilitated with the help of the Sangamon County Office of Emergency Management. Finally, we're making investments in nonprofit and educational support. We've allocated funds to provide multi-year commitments to fund the need-based programming for existing early childhood STEM education programs. We've committed funding to accommodate 10 new pre-apprentice participants annually over the next 5 years through the Springfield project. We've committed technology grants to the Auburn and Ball Chatham school districts to support the educational needs of our nearest neighbors. And we will hold a career and job fair in Q3 or Q4 of this year to make sure that people are aware of pathways to work on our project and in our buildings once this is complete.
That's 10 minutes.
And I'll end there. Thank you.
Right, then proceeding with the rules as adopted, 10 minutes, up to 10-minute presentation divided anyway by the opponents.
Hello, County Board. Hello, public. My name is Thomas Davis. I'm a retired lawyer with 34 years of experience solely for state and county governments. First of all, the Illinois Constitution guarantees that, quote, each person has the right to a healthful environment. State zoning laws rightfully give explicit priority to health, safety, and welfare. The Illinois County Code authorizes the county to, quote, regulate and restrict location and use of structures for the purpose of promoting public health, safety, morals, comfort, and general welfare, and conserving the values of property throughout the county, with, quote, the power to regulate and restrict the intensity of such uses. As to rural buildings, quote, due allowance shall be made for existing conditions and the conservation of property values. The law requires that, quote, development must be to the best advantage of the entire county. The statute does not mention revenue or money. Any tax payments beginning a few years from now would be just one part of the general welfare analysis. Many county residents, especially people, those living near the site, have serious concerns about quality of life, as well as electric bills. Your ordinance declares, quote, the intent of these regulations is to protect the public health, safety, and community welfare. You are under no requirement to act by a date certain. After 15 county meetings on this controversy, there are still unanswered questions and concerns. There is no legal urgency. Tonight is merely a self-imposed deadline. If I don't do it, somebody else will is a Dr. John song, but it's not good basis for policy. Especially now, when in response to public concerns, the zoning board last Thursday announced that it's seeking to amend the ordinance to better protect the public health, safety, and community welfare. Any revote tonight ought to be delayed pending ordinance revision. However, there is apparently some suggestion that you must vote tonight to approve this proposal simply because it is recommended as meeting, quote, the minimum requirements. This is both false and wrong. You have the discretion to defer this vote. Try again, 13 to 15. Let's do it again. Most of the members of the county board and the public were not well informed of this proposal until very recently. Take a few more months to implement what you've learned and then review the proposal and vote with the new improved regulations. Getting back to the current ordinance, it's still in effect. It explicitly sets only, quote, the minimum regulations required. It clearly prohibits approval unless, quote, such use will minimize the adjacent effects on the character of the surrounding area. Any facility must, quote, be operated, designed, and located so that the public health, safety, and welfare will be protected, and that it will not cause substantial injury to the value of other property in the vicinity. You are obligated to give due consideration of these criteria. Your constituents have a constitutional right to a healthful environment and deserve more than minimal protection requirements being permitted. No developer has a vested interest in the present regulations unless and until land acquisition and significant capital. Center is modular, it's relatively off the shelf, it's easily changed, they're changing it as time goes by. The exercise of your discretion is controlled by state law, and your ordinance requires due consideration of the criteria that matter most, this being the public health, safety, and welfare. No other issue or factor outweighs these. Certainly not the uncertain revenue stream to be shared with another county. Of course, the key issue is intensity of use. Current restrictions, such as setbacks and height, are inadequate to minimize adjacent effects. With the other important unresolved concerns, and now the plan to revise the ordinance, you are legally obligated, in my view, to defer a vote on the data center proposal. Minimal impact cannot be achieved through minimal protection. Thank you.
Let's please, I know everyone is excited about this evening from both sides, but please, let's try to keep the demonstrations to a minimum. It'll be a long night and we have a lot of people to hear from.
Good evening, I'm Jim Applegate, resident of Sangamon County for more than a decade. I know for many of you that makes me a newcomer, but I urge you to say no to this clear and present threat to our health and safety, or at least support a delay until we have legally binding agreements protecting all of us. Over the last 2 years, $68 billion in data center proposals around the country have been denied or delayed with the most intense opposition, this is important, coming from areas already dealing with the negative impact of a data center on the health and quality of life in their communities. $68 billion worth, and that number is accelerating in late 2025 and 26. Why, you may ask, is this happening? Because more and more communities are putting their health and quality of life ahead of the often unfulfilled or at least overstated promise of tax dollars being dangled in front of them by billionaire companies with no vested interest in them. As county board members, your number one priority should be, and I hope is, the health and quality of life of your constituents. And as you have heard, legally, you can say no or delay proposals if you feel they threaten that. And if somehow you don't see the dropping of 420 diesel generators the size of semi-trucks into the middle of prime farmland, holding nearly 3 million gallons of diesel fuel, with as yet no legal guarantees for how much or how often the dangerous particulates from diesel fuel are released into our air, If you don't see this as a clear and present danger to our health and safety, I'm not sure why. The EPA states the impact of diesel emissions as, and I quote, exposure to diesel exhaust can lead to serious health conditions like asthma and respiratory illnesses, can worsen existing heart and lung diseases, especially in children and the elderly. The elderly, that would be me. These conditions can result in increased numbers of emergency room visits, hospital admissions, absences from work and school, and premature deaths. Also produced is acid rain, which affects soil, lakes, and streams. We have already seen the many harmful impacts of these data centers in places like Aurora, which was previously mentioned, right here in Illinois. But it's not just about a power failure like they had in Aurora with extended use of these generators. By law, they must be tested on a cycle basis, monthly, quarterly, and annually. Testing each of these 420 diesel generators for even 30 minutes per month would equate to 210 hours per month of dangerous particulates entering our ecosystem. And for our friends from Dallas, I would point out that we have wind in Illinois, and that those particulates will not be limited to whatever small area the area that data center takes up. Given all this, the lack of a legally binding testing schedule for these 420 semi-truck-sized diesel generators poses a clear and present threat to the health and well-being of your constituents. And as to those pictures of tax dollars dancing around in our head, just Google, and I did, appealing property taxes for data centers, and you will find immediately at least 5 law firms that tout their ability to massively reduce property valuations for these centers by hundreds of thousands of dollars through manipulation of things like depreciation schedules. They say because of the, and I use their words, squishy nature of these evaluations for these new types of centers. These are massive for-profit companies, and avoiding taxes is a great way to increase profits. Not to mention the fact that 70% of any revenue will not even go to Sangamon County, which you are supposed to represent. As of now, we get most of the risk to health and safety and not much of the reward. I urge you to vote no on this data center, or at least support a delay in approval until the many issues being raised by your constituents are resolved and we have legally binding.
That's time.
Legally binding commitments. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please limit the demonstrations. It just takes from the time for the presentations. All right, 10 minutes for the proponents.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Kyle Berry. I'm an attorney with McGuire Woods, and I'm representing the petitioner here tonight. I live here in Springfield. I'm a Sangamon County resident and taxpayer, and my office is about 4 blocks away here. I just want to discuss a couple legal issues that we just raised. First of all, neither Mr. Davis nor Mr. Applegate attended the public hearing last month in front of the Zoning Board of Appeals. I don't know why. You'll have to ask them. But that was an evidentiary hearing. And the reason that the state law and your ordinance requires a public hearing as an evidentiary hearing is that witnesses testify there under oath. They make statements, and when people do that, they tend to be a little more careful about what they say, or they should. And evidence is considered. Well, the zoning board considered the evidence, and they voted 5-0 to recommend approval. The evidence that was submitted here tonight, anything that's new, shouldn't be considered under the law. Because it was supposed to be done at the evidentiary hearing. Makes sense, right? So when it comes to data centers generally and the arguments that data centers are bad, the problem with that argument is that this board, this county, adopted a data center siting standard last July. And 25 years ago, the Illinois Supreme Court said that once a permitting body adopts a standard and sets something up as a special or conditional use, then it essentially has made a determination that that use is compatible with the zoning district that is being proposed in. In this case, at the agricultural zoning district. And so the approval, if the applicant meets the standards, then the permitting authority is under the law, under the Supreme Court ruling, not my opinion, it's the Supreme Court's, the body is required to approve the ordinance, approve the petition if it meets the standards. Well, in this case, as Mr. Howe already indicated, the petitioner has met those standards in the application and in the evidentiary hearing. By the way, the commitments that were made at the evidentiary hearing are binding. That was a recorded meeting. The planning staff has found that the petitioner has met those standards. And then the zoning board, again, voted to recommend 5-0 unanimously that those standards had been met. So again, I just wanted to make it clear that while the arguments that were made that you're not required to consider that, I beg to differ. The hearing was made, the hearing was properly noticed under Illinois law, and the zoning board has made its recommendation. It's in front of you, and they can ask you to delay it. This is a common. I do a lot of hearings around the state. I've appeared in about half the counties, mostly on renewable energy projects, and it's a common tactic of opponents to ask for a delay because they know that delays can kill a project. So again, I'll turn things over to Mr. Howard again, but I wanted to address those legal issues. Thank you.
I'm providing some time to our environmental expert, Laura, to talk about emissions.
Hi, can you hear me? I'm Laura Cottrell, Senior Director of Environmental Compliance with CyrusOne. I've been with CyrusOne for just about 3 years now, and prior to coming to CyrusOne, I spent the majority of my career in environmental consulting, and the latter part of that consulting career pretty much focusing on data centers, so supporting our competitors and our customers and others in the data center industry with air quality and air permitting challenges and other environmental challenges. So I understand what you guys are all thinking about, and also from this side, the complexities and the safeguards that are in place to ensure that we are being a good neighbor and protecting human health and community health and whatnot. To respond to some of the specific comments on air quality concerns, so for this site and really for any site in Illinois, the overarching regulatory framework that helps ensure that we are protecting the health of the community really starts at the Clean Air Act. At its very simplistic state, the Clean Air Act sets ambient air quality standards for the entire country. The rest of the Clean Air Act makes sure that if there are certain areas of the country that are not meeting those clean air standards, you have more stringent rules to ensure that you get back within those standards. Those standards includes ambient air quality standards for things like NOx, ozone, and particulate matter. So basically that Clean Air Act, delegation of that is given to Illinois EPA in the state of Illinois. So when we go in to permit this data center, we're securing a permit from Illinois EPA. Their rules are set up to ensure that we're complying with the Clean Air Act, and inherently those rules are set up to ensure that we're protecting ambient air quality standards, those standards that were set to ensure the health of the community. Layered on that, another overarching federal regulation is called NESHAP, or National Emission Standards for Hazardous Air Pollutants. So we're talking about diesel particulate matter and other air toxics. That's another federal rule that, in addition to permitting, requires certain emission standards for diesel generators. We're subject to subpart Quad Z under the NESHAP rule. That basically dictates that we need what's called a Tier 2 emergency generator for our data centers. US EPA has deemed that for backup purposes, because we do not operate our generators often, Tier 2 emissions are adequate to protect human health and the environment. For this site, we are going above and beyond those Tier 2 standards. We're using Tier 4 equivalent emergency generators. So that's basically a Tier 2 generator with emissions controls to reduce things like NOx, CO, VOC, and diesel particulate matter. So this facility, once permitted, it will become what's called a minor source under Illinois EPA rules. We do not operate our generators frequently. Our normal maintenance and testing schedule is typically just a half-hour no-load run each month, and then a 4-hour load bank test annually. Utility outages, it's something that we work to design to ensure that those are minimal and hopefully never happen, but those in most cases are an anomaly. That's all I have on air emissions.
For the sake of time, I'm happy closing our 10 minutes and proceeding to the next section.
Very good. Then, under the rules, we have another 10-minute segment, up to 10 minutes for the opponents.
My name's Don Hanrahan, and I'm a retired attorney. There's a number of things that need to be rebutted here. First of all, you have to regulate not just whether this is a permitted use, not just whether it meets narrow, minimal criteria in the zoning ordinance. The zoning ordinance says these are minimal requirements, minimal. And what the county board's obligation is to evaluate the intensity of any permitted use to decide whether the specifics that it does meet are sufficient to protect the health, safety, and general welfare of the community. And that is your legal obligation. Saying again and again that all we have to do is to meet these narrow little requirements on a 10-page document that they filled out is baloney. You have to consider the health, safety, and general welfare. And to get to the last issue first, do you know they're proposing in their 10-page little permit application, they're proposing that the county just waive and that the EPA just waive all the noise requirements every time they run their diesel backup generators for more than just testing. So if the power goes out, 420 diesel generators, each the size of a semi-truck trailer, are going to be roaring away at full blast. You know what that sounds like? It sounds like a helicopter landing on top of your house. Jobs, especially union jobs, we're all for that. But here's the thing. If you're going to have 500 union jobs, first of all, for 4 to 6 years, that means not only are you going to have the data center noise, not only are you going to have the diesel backup generator noise, you're also going to have construction noise for equipment that's just immense, going on for 4 to 6 years. But here's the thing about the union jobs. The jobs that are being created to construct this thing are building a machine that's an AI machine. That is artificial intelligence, which we know takes away jobs. It takes away jobs. We don't know how many, but it takes away the kinds of jobs that we have in Sangamon County that other unions rely on. Our AFSCME workers, our service employees in the national union. Those are the kinds of jobs that disappear with AI. So let's not talk just about jobs. This company's owned by BlackRock, the biggest company on earth. And I want to mention too that they talk about how they're going to be good neighbors and comply and deal with all the pollution regulations, but they promised that in Aurora too. 4 buildings, each 450,000 square feet. The county board's staff claims that, it's no bigger than a grain elevator. You know how big a grain elevator is. 10 acres, maybe 25 if there's a rail facility. This thing is gargantuan. They talk about water efficiency, but what they don't tell you and they refuse to answer is their indirect water use. 600 megawatts of power requires generating power. From what? out of thin air? Well, if it's solar, yeah, kinda, but it's not all solar. It's nuclear, it's coal, it's gas, it's the kind of power that consumes vast amounts of water. If you're running 600 megawatts and you're drawing it off coal, gas, and nuclear, you're using millions of gallons of water every day, millions. And they don't want to talk about indirect water use. And they tell you that, oh, Aurora's a legacy plant. It's all of 8 years old. But what they don't tell you is that phase 3 of the Aurora plant is brand new. Its construction started in 2024. Did they tell everybody they were going to meet the requirements then? That phase is one of the ones that's producing all the problems in Aurora. And there's no homes near, but there's livestock near. There's livestock near, a livestock operation, a kennel. How is that compatible under the regulations to consider compatible use? It's incompatible with those uses nearby, uses that were already permitted. Can I cede some of my time to one of the landowners, Mr. Feder, Mr. Schultz, or Mr. Carruthers?
You can organize your time any way you want.
Could we pause for a second while I ask, do one of you guys want to come up and speak during this time for a few minutes? How much time is left? 4 minutes. Okay. It's important that you hear from the people who live there.
Thank you. My name is Gary Schultz. I'm union labor. I live 1.5 miles in Louder from this proposed area. Noise is the second largest environmental cause of health problems, just after air pollution and data centers. And produce plenty of that. I'm not here to tell you about how bad data centers are because you already know from researching them. The low frequency hum is reported in homes 7 miles away, and the solar panels surrounding over half of it amplify it, making it louder and travel further, causing sleep problems, stress, anxiety. Prove me wrong. Makes people live in hell living around them. Then permanent. And for those 100 permanent jobs, 3/4 of them are remote. I don't know if it's been brought up, but there's train tracks out there, and they pass there. And they'll sit there for 15 minutes, sometimes 2 hours. What are they gonna do when they got a fire and burden's coming out, and they gotta sit there at the tracks? Then they gotta back up for 2.5 miles and drive 8 miles around to get to where this place is gonna be. Wanting to be. And the reason I say that is because there was a child having a breathing problem 7 years ago and almost died because the train had the tracks blocked and the rescue squad couldn't get through. I don't know if that would ever bother. And what if Burden's busy on a fire call? They're going to call Springfield. And then we're going to pay for it because all this money is going to Macoupin. Nobody seems to be concerned about the water table out there. The water table, the line that covers is about 20 feet down out there. And when they go punching their caissons in for these stand-up panels you're putting in, they're going to go 40 to 50 feet. Just across the street, they're only 35 to 38 feet. And they're going to punch through it, they're going to damage the water. There's a lot of people out there still on wells, but I know that's not a concern of theirs. These used vacuum salesmen that work for Cyrus One who lie on the road are not new AI data center buddies that might have taken a few of you out for meals to convince you how wonderful it is, but they won't remember you after this. But we sure the hell will. The majority will, most of the people out in this building don't even know what an AI data center is. As soon as, if this is passed, let's change this around. Okay. Cyrus wants to get this passed as soon as possible before some real guidelines are put on data centers. They just want their leash cut so they can run wild and do what they want. And they know this because at the last meeting they were talking about putting amendments on more. So why can't we do it to this one? Saying no right now doesn't mean forever on this. It just means that we have time to make some more guidelines for this. Not screw the people over that live out there in that township. Well, thanks for listening.
I got 10 seconds. All opposed?
All right, proceeding in the regular order, the final 10 minutes for the proponents.
Okay, so in the opening presentation, I did show a map and some of our neighbors. The people that are directly adjacent, directly next to our proposed campus, we have met with, and we have the cooperation in the project. I wanted to bring up a few supporters to speak using our time. Is there a video ready to be played? We did bring a drone view. So just as a matter of perspective, just for those, I know many people have probably not been out there and seen the site, but we do have a drone video just to give some perspective on the site along with the local landowner here.
Hello, my name is Daryl Toma. I am here not only representing the family that owns the land for the proposed site, but also as a proud resident of Sangamon County. I'd like to express my appreciation first to the board for being here tonight and investing, over a lot of time over the last 6 to 12 months in listening, learning, and engaging in thoughtful discussions about this remarkable opportunity. I believe that all of us here are aware of the challenges faced by our community in attracting interest from large commercial company to establish a presence here in Sangamon County. Therefore, I also want to extend my appreciation to CyrusOne for being here tonight and presenting this opportunity to us. Our family has been farming in Sangamon County for nearly 100 years. There is nothing more important to us than farmland and maintaining a sustainable family farming operation. We approach this opportunity, like many of you, with an open mind and a desire to understand all the benefits this project would have on our community. While immediate benefits of job creation and substantial tax revenue are evident, I would like to emphasize the significance of land and why this is the perfect location of the data center. When Ameren put in the 345 kV transmission from Indiana to Kansas, it was right through the south part of this county. Although this development may have initially seemed disappointing at the time, it inadvertently opened up a significant amount of capacity to the MISO grid. To this board's credit, this led to the creation of Double Black Diamond. Consequently, Double Black Diamond constructed a brand new substation and interconnection into the MISO. So the necessary infrastructure is already in place for this data center site. MISO, Ameren, REA, and the independent expert that this board hired have all done a comprehensive analysis of this project, and all have provided you with a report that this project will not have a detrimental impact on the grid. Currently, there are 140,000 megawatts of capacity in the MISO grid. This is 600 megawatts. That's less than 0.5% of the available capacity. The site is also uniquely suited because it is entirely farmland. And as you can see, there are no houses, there are no trees, there's no waterways, there's no fence rows, and there is minimal wildlife. The closest house is over a half a mile, and there are only a couple others that are within a full mile. I would also like to point out that the southwest area of Sangamon County has emerged as a prominent commercial corridor with businesses such as Schooler Grain, CHS, Springfield Plastics, Brandt Consolidated, Accessory Squared, and Double Black Diamond. This area has proven itself to be a great place to do commercial business. So with the existing interconnection infrastructure already in place, and the minimal impact on the environment and surrounding neighbors, and the positive effects of job creation, substantial revenue for the taxing bodies of this county, I firmly believe this is a perfect site and presents an exceptional opportunity for our county. Thank you.
The time of the demonstration just takes, the time of the demonstration just takes away from the presentation. Is there anyone else who wants to speak?
To provide a perspective on jobs, I'm introducing Aaron Guernsey.
Thank you. That's fine. Good evening. I'll keep this brief. As many of you have heard a lot of this before, so. My name is Aaron Guernsey. I'm the president of the Central Illinois Building and Construction Trades Council, representing about 10,000 families who will be working on this project. I'm also the business manager for the Plumbers and Steam Fitter at HVAC Architects here for Local 137. Many people who want to work on this project in their pockets, who took time out of their day to show this board what this project means to them. Yes, it means having money to spend at local stores and restaurants. It means the ability to buy cars, support their solid school districts, and maintain community resources funded by the taxpayers. But more importantly, they're here tonight to see who supports them, to see which members care about the working men and women of this community. These workers care deeply about this region. They're the ones helping with the storm cleanup when disaster strikes. Coaching the Little League teams, leading our 4-H groups, volunteering in the churches, and supporting countless other organizations that rely on the people and that will volunteer and step up right here. This project matters to them.
Order! We've got to be polite and listen to each other. We're just wasting time if we try these childish catcalls. Just let each side speak. Please proceed.
This project matters to them. The working class matters to this community. I urge you to vote yes and not disappoint these families who give so much to this project. I'm in approval of it. Thank you. Who else is?
My name is Sean Middleton, and I'm the president and CEO of Rural Electric Convenience Cooperative, right here in Auburn, just outside of town. And you've heard me before, but the point remains the same, that this data center represents a new era of investment. And you've heard the discussion, I know I brought it up as well, the existing transmission electrical infrastructure has been set. It was already paved the way, and it's allowed renewable energy development in solar and wind, 2 different wind farms, one in place, one coming. And now it has allowed the advent of data center or load applications to be able to be built here. It invited them, in a sense. And it showcases that Sangamon County is ready for high-tech industrial growth. Now, reliability, I know, is paramount to everyone. It is to me. I dedicate my entire utility career to it. But knowing that we're working with entities like CyrusOne to provide the cost framework to pay for the electric infrastructure investments that need to be made, and the fact that the electric substation apparatus, which is the biggest investment, frankly, already exists because it was built for the solar farm. It already is there to allow the interconnection. And you've heard but I did the application permits. Your local permitting authority, Ameren Transmission, and the Mid-Continental Independent System Operator, both more than signed off on this. They issued a no harm, no impact transmission system reliability study. And of course, affordability. No one gets affordability more than your electric co-op that's been here for 80-some years. And why would we enter into an agreement that was going to raise our rates? I mean, I can only be emphatic about the fact that the board of directors and your local electric cooperative is intending to utilize the margins we receive to take pressure away from future rate increases. And so the point is, a vote for this project is a strategic investment in not only Sangamon County's prosperity, but for the long-term grid and other reliability of this area. Thank you.
If we have time remaining, I'm willing to see. So we can proceed with the next section. We'll see the rest of it.
Okay, very good. All right. The final 10-minute segment from the opponents.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Kathleen Campbell. Many of you know me. Not everyone realizes that my former job, I'm retired now, I'm Professor Emeritus Distinguished Scholar of SIU School of Medicine. I was Director of Audiology Research. My PhD was in hearing science. The biologic effects of environmental noise are very well known. We've known it for decades, but more information is coming out. Chronic noise exposure can negatively impact mental health, including depression, anxiety, behavioral problems, and suicide, particularly in children and adolescents. Further, chronic environmental noise exposure can negatively impact cardiovascular health, ability to concentrate and sleep. It can even disrupt your circadian rhythms. The 24/7 year-round noise exposure of data centers is unlike other rural noise exposures. I've heard the comparison to grain elevators. That's usually 4 to 6 weeks. It's seasonal and it's intermittent. I watch with admiration Sangamon County's work on mental health. Don't sacrifice the health and welfare of one segment of their population for the financial gain of another. We have had that vote. Please stop it. The backup generators, I had recordings from Aurora. I didn't realize those weren't allowed here. But I will tell you, some of the noise, you might have seen it, State General Register had some recordings, and I realized that those were some from malfunction as well. But the recordings is similar to a shop vac. And I will guarantee you that when my husband uses a shop vac working on a project, I usually leave the house. But if that had gone 24/7, our marriage would not have lasted 50 years. I'll guarantee it. But at the level, the staff report says this isn't a problem. But as my colleague pointed out, with 420 generators, this works out to over 7 hours of exposure, 365 days a year of one backup generator. And if they play 2 at once, it increases the intensity. So the noise samples that I can't play, I would like to, but I would tell you that I have the recordings from 1,375 feet in Aurora. I did the calculation. You can still hear that at 3/4 mile. Those people will be hearing it, and it will be at the level of about sitting next to your washer or dryer doing laundry. Not sitting in the other room, but sitting by your washer or dryer. And of course, some of this will be higher if you're closer to it. It also has adverse effects on livestock. It can decrease milk production in cows, egg laying in chickens. So they're also susceptible to this. So it could limit the development of the land next to it, even if that livestock isn't there now. It would limit their ability to put in housing or in livestock areas next to developing that property for them. But the most constant noise is from the cooling systems, including fans and HVAC. And for those of you that have gone to Aurora or listened to it there, keep in mind this facility is 4 times as large. So you get a doubling, every doubling in noise generators gives you another 3 dB increase. So this would be 6 dB louder here compared to what you have in Aurora by the number of noise sources. So I wish I could play the recordings again, but I will say that in Aurora, they say, gee, we've got problems. But have they shut down so that those people are not exposed to the over noise exposure that is not in compliance? They have not. They said we're ordering inboard chillers, we're ordering inboard insulation. Surely that will never happen here. When you look at a company, what happens when things go wrong? Do they shut it down and take care of the people? Or do they continue month after month saying, we'll take care of it and we'll make sure it doesn't happen at the next place? I always look at what comes first. So I'm very concerned about this. Again, I've had some of my time for the noise recordings, but I assure you that you would not want to live with the 24/7 noise that will come out from the fans, the HVAC systems in a facility this large, which will be louder than Aurora. And yes, the recordings that I had and did my measurements on it, I share all my calculations. I used to teach this, that with all those calculations, etc., this is not a place that you're going to want to live next to, and I think it's going to inhibit the other development out there. I don't think businesses are going to want to be close because of the noise exposure. I don't think you want to put more livestock in because of the noise exposure. And that is an inherent part of data centers. And so I'm not really trying to disparage the people from CyrusOne. I know they're trying to make money, but I do not think that this is the best interest of our residents. Thank you.
To address what Mr. Berry said, Section 1739, which regulates data centers, the ordinance states in no uncertain terms, the purpose of these regulations is to provide a uniform and comprehensive set of standards for the installation and location of a data center, which it defines, by the way, in the vaguest of terms. The intent of these regulations is to protect the public health, safety, and community welfare of this community. That's what it says. So the public health, safety, and community welfare have to be considered in making your decision. When you talk about, it's unbelievable that someone who claims to live there comes here and says, I've been there for 100, our family's been there for 100 years, there's no wildlife there. Ask the people who live there. I just talked to Gary Schultz about wildlife before this meeting started. There's coyotes, there's foxes, there's bats, there's, anything, everything that's out in the country. And let me finish this. There's another corridor besides a business corridor, and it's called the Mississippi Flyway. We're right in the middle of it. Lick Creek is right there. Guess what flies down Lick Creek in the Mississippi Flyway? Endangered species. So let's not talk about how there's no effect on wildlife. And I was there at the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. And again, I say the health, safety, and general welfare have to be considered. IEPA compliance, do you know organizations like Sierra Club, NAACP, Prairie Rivers Network, those organizations know for a fact that the IEPA doesn't have the staff to go around checking noise levels, checking diesel levels. You have to file a complaint. So, and then you have to go through a long regulatory process. This is not what this board should be considering, deferring to another agency that's understaffed, underfunded, and incapable of doing your job, which is to protect the health, safety, and general welfare. And again, I'm happy and proud that Mr. Guernsey and his union do all the things that they do in this community. And I support them. And I hope that one day he can look his other unionists in the eye when they're about to be laid off because AI took their jobs. Unions, other unions that are not being considered here, only the ones that get the temporary jobs for 4 to 6 years, maybe 100, maybe 500, to create 100 jobs that we don't even know whether they're full-time or part-time. They haven't told us. You know, the agricultural impact here is significant. This monstrosity is completely incompatible with the already existing adjacent agricultural use. You just heard from Kathy Campbell that the existence of this thing impairs the opportunity value of all the surrounding land. Now those landowners can't subdivide it. They can't put housing there. They can't move a new livestock operation there. They have all kinds of diminution in their opportunities. Why did the Sangamon County staff find it necessary to equate this to an agricultural use like a grain elevator that benefits an agricultural area with a tenth of the space and not the 24/7 noise? This thing...
That's time. That's time. Thank you. All right, that concludes the that concludes the formal presentations for what first Mr. Rader and Mr. McGuire seek recognition. Mr. McGuire.
Kevin McGuire, District 28. And so I just wanted to share a couple of items before we get into the rest of the meeting. You know, we have, this was all proposed, shared at the Zoning and Land Usage Committee last month. We've listened to the public concerns, and including a proposed zoning ordinance that was provided to a number of board members related to data centers, and worked with professional staff, board leadership, several board members on where we can implement some of these requests. And more of the items related in this zoning ordinance related actually to building permits and building code. But zoning is the first step here. They still need to apply for building permits in order to move the project forward. So this isn't, this doesn't end after tonight. I just wanted to note that. But a few items that I've brought to our committee, Tom and I have brought to our committee to discuss. Requiring Tier 4 generators dramatically limits the noise levels. Complying with all EPA requirements and industry standard, which has changed significantly over the last several years, and especially when compared to some older data centers that are continuously compared to this one. Requests for inspections will all be fulfilled at the developer's expense, and so there is no cost to the taxpayer for this. I want to note that as well. And we have ongoing discussions regarding setbacks, and so looking at 1,500 feet potentially, but this is being reviewed in committee, and you know, I would encourage other committee members and anyone else with an interest to come out and share your opinion while we draft an amendment to file at the committee level. Discussing how to approach enforcement of the energy code and several other items. And so CyrusOne has agreed in writing to comply with all of this. And I would just make note of correspondence we received. CyrusOne Sangamon LLC has no objections to the proposed changes to the county's zoning code or building code. In fact, CyrusOne either has already complied with or will comply with the requirements imposed by the proposed language at a later date as appropriate. So I just want to pass it off to Tom. He's going to explain the building code aspect of it.
Mr. Chairman, Tom Rader, District 8. Wanted to let you know that we have professional staff check our ordinances and found we have met with what other counties have passed for zoning of data centers. We have found areas that needed different wording, and as Kevin said, we as a county board are working with changes. And again, Cyrus One has signed a letter of compliance to our zoning and proposed change of language as of today. One of the changes that we have made in there highlights a data center shall comply with noise limits established by the Illinois Pollution Control Board. A noise study shall be completed before and after each construction phase is done at the expense of the developer, no expenses to the taxpayers of Sangamon County.
Thank you, Mr. Grader and Mr. Barr. Thank you both. All right, now we're proceeding to the public comment portion of the zoning hearing. And any member of the public who wishes to speak can speak for up to 2 minutes. We'll be using, this is kind of become the media ghetto over here, so we're going to be using this microphone. And if you wish to speak this evening, please just kind of line up against this wall here. We'll just take people in order. We want to make this request. Please try to keep your comments to adding new information so that people aren't just repeating each other. And we'll just take you in the order that you're kind of lined up here. And very good. Give everybody just a minute. I'm sorry the room doesn't seem big enough, but we thought we had a big enough room. Okay, so just a reminder, you have 2 minutes to speak. Directly from one person to the next. All right. Let's lower the noise level. Lower the noise level so we can proceed and let each person speak. And ma'am, you're the first speaker.
Hello, my name is Sylvia. I'm a teacher and I'm an unapologetic patriot and I'm a wife. I want to start with a joke about China once being addicted to opiates while America made things, and now that's quite the opposite. And let me make it clear, this proposed data center, the proliferation of AI and quantum computing is not a thing, not a tangible good or service, and that is why it is being packaged as a crafty bill of lies with an attempted sale to us. We are the product. Speaking of, I've been hearing talk of China eating our nation's proverbial lunch since I was a child, all from the mouths of cowards who will never say the words dual citizen. Is China not our adversary? Do we model our own nation after a communist society with surveillance capitalistic tendencies? In the PRC, they abuse their citizens' rights through their vast digital infrastructure to the detriment of the individual while easing governance for their regime. The phrase, those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety, comes to life. While even Israel has the sense to bury their data centers deep underground because of their high terror potentiality and the effects on all biological organisms. Everyone knows our greatest ally exports only one service: high technology theft, espionage, blackmail. By way of deception, thou shalt win wars, is the former motto of Mossad, the Israeli equivalent to the CIA. How fitting for the way this country is headed into the false enlightenment of the smart city digital age. And Israel will never pay a red cent to see the construction of an Iron Dome equivalent for the United States. America, you are headed into a technologically facilitated police state, a panopticon or smart prison that makes reality out of fictions like Minority Report or The Terminator. Career diplomats like Zbigniew Brzezinski and politicians like Henry Kissinger.
That's 2 minutes. Please stop. Next speaker. Thank you. Next speaker.
My name's Tara Bergschneider. I'm a nurse. My husband's a city fireman. My son is a union worker. And I am a resident in the District 7 where they are planning to build this. The real issue is not whether Sangamon County is being asked to accept the wrong project for our land, our infrastructure, and our long-term future. We support unions, we support workers, and we support good-paying jobs, as many of us are workers that keep this county running every single day. That's exactly why the conversation around this proposed data center should not be reduced to a false choice between jobs and community responsibility. This project has not begun. No one's livelihood hinges on this project. As a bedside cardiac nurse, I work every day inside systems that cannot...
Please use the mic so they can hear you in the back.
Is it working?
Yeah, it's working. Yeah.
I'm a little short. As a bedside cardiac nurse, I work every day inside systems that cannot afford to fail. That perspective shapes how I evaluate the proposal of a 280-acre data center with the power load of roughly 120,000 homes. I see risk, I see strain, and I see the weight that inevitably falls on the people who live closest and the ones who just can't relocate when the system fails. Using union workers against community members is appalling. Members should not be in this situation. The appearance that rejecting this project should somehow threaten their ability to feed their families is repulsive. This job does not exist, their employment does not rise or fall on this company's land acquisition. Using workers as the emotional buffer for a billion-dollar corporation does not build support, it manufactures pressure, and it divides our community.
That's 2 minutes. Next speaker.
There it is. I got it. Okay, tell me when to go. Go. Good evening. My name is Ray Campbell. I have only 2 minutes. There are a lot of reasons to vote no on this data center, or at the very least, delay it. We don't have to do this right now. First of all, the AI and the data center revolution resembles the dot-com bubble of the early 2000s. And don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, because I lost a job I love because of that. Second of all, this industry, the data center industry, wants our privacy laws weakened, as documented in the February 8th, 2026 Chicago Tribune. Why do you think that is? What do they want to do with our information, guys? We should not be voting for people that want to sacrifice our privacy. Thirdly, it makes me sick that this proposed site is on prime farmland. I'm the son of a farmer, and there are better places for this kind of thing, like industrial areas that are zoned for this kind of thing, not out in the middle of nowhere. And fourthly, there is another county that is heavily impacted by this and is not even being considered, and that is Morgan County. Those people aren't even in the discussion. It's going to be shoved down their throats and with no input from them at all. Listen, I support union workers as well, and construction workers. I know that jobs are important to you guys, but you know what? AI is taking over other union jobs, as was discussed recently in the State Journal, or in the Chicago Tribune article on February 8th. Let's learn from Aurora. It could happen in Aurora, it could happen here. Let's not let it happen here, and let's vote no, or at least delay this thing. Thank you very much.
That's time. Next speaker.
Okay, let me know when you're ready.
Go.
My name is Karen Campbell. I too would like to see this project voted down for many reasons. I know I only have 2 minutes, so I will make it brief. I do not believe that emergency personnel, that being fire, emergency medical, and law enforcement, have the resources or training to deal with something like this, either from a hazardous material incident or potential terrorism target. And yes, folks, I believe this is a potential terrorism target. Also, I want to ask, can this thing withstand a natural disaster? The reason I ask is this area is prone to tornadoes and, yes, earthquakes. We are not far from the New Madrid Fault. Have there been answers on that question, especially the latter question about earthquakes? I support a no vote on this project and a moratorium so that more questions that are still out there can be answered. Thank you.
Next speaker. I think it's the lady in the dig out.
My name's Ann Logue, and I want to just reiterate that the Iranian government bombed 2 Amazon data centers, so, let's just put a target on her back. Anyway, I also wanted to say that the EPA currently is getting gutted with protections, so if the Sangamon County is depending on the EPA to do that, our current president, and thank you very much for how we got there, is gutting environmental protections when it comes to pollution, water, food, soil. In regards to the unions, I support unions. I think they're a great thing. I wouldn't have my health care if it wasn't for a union. I do think that it is wrong to sacrifice a lot of people's health and children. We have 15 times the rate of asthma in Sangamon County on the east side versus the west side. That's a lot of asthma. And these diesel generators are very disturbing. That's 400 generators. I put some information on your tables about the iron air battery, which could replace the diesel generators. And it's cheaper, and it definitely would be putting particulates into the air. Corin Sains, who is on the board of directors in Leesburg, Virginia, is where data centers are saturated. And I called him not too long ago and had a discussion. And when I told him that there were 400 generators, he was shocked. He was like, oh my God, And this is a guy who deals with data centers all the time, including CyrusOne. So I just want to say, this is not just one data center. This is a massive influx of them. And the lawyer.
Time.
Okay,
Thank you. Next speaker.
First and foremost, show transparency by identifying any board members who signed an NDA or received campaign donations from CyrusOne, their affiliates, or the owners of the land, the best of their family. Anyone who has signed an NDA or received donations should excuse themselves from voting. Secondly, the county board needs to identify who they are consulting with when it comes to environmental matters and concerns. Third, regarding data center legislation, Illinois is working on current regulations and laws so that they are more in line with residents' best interests. Part of that includes House Bill 4980, which AFSCME supports. It sets guidelines to how and when AI is used in the public sector. Another part is based on taxation for data centers, which the governor is working on suspending for 2 years. If CyrusOne truly has our interests at heart, they should be fine with delaying the process until new legislation takes place. That's right. CyrusOne has made promises not to repeal taxation amounts. Sadly, promises aren't legally binding. Our current state laws give data centers exceptions for state tax up to 20 years and allows them a tax credit for 20% of construction labor. As it stands, the county will not receive their 1% sales tax for anything that CyrusOne purchases for 20 years. Cyrus One has claimed to show goodwill by signing a PLA with local unions. However, they failed to mention that a PLA is required for the current labor tax credit incentive. Fourth, Illinois is the first state to pass a wildlife protection. They are finally taking eco-friendly steps. Why do we have to wait until we decimate our ecosystem to straighten things out? Stop harming our environment. Thank you.
Next speaker, just to note, we're not sure of the state of the law, so you do not have to state your name if you don't want to. Go ahead.
Warren Wilkie, good to meet y'all. Usually when I get something or someone does something for me, I get them to sign a contract. I get deliverables, firm numbers, not estimates that are constantly floating. I think I've seen estimates, like we talked about millions of gallons of water, but like even in the newspaper, like the information that the public is getting is pretty trickled out. 1,100 to 28 gallons is no minor jump. If you're talking about water use consumption. And we keep talking about all these generators. I haven't seen anything about actual hookups. Like how many hookups are actually going to be spec'd for this? Like this is a lot of, the point is, we are being asked to make a decision on minimal evidence. And that is problematic. Speculating, like we're treating this as like, we have to do this, and the problem is the consequences are going to keep rolling in and the only response is going to be the decision was made. The momentum is going to work against the people here and I'm not here to say all data centers are bad. What I'm trying to say is we should make decisions based on clear foundation. That's it.
My name is Justin King. I'm a 6th-generation farmer from western Sangamon County. On my farm, we grow food, not concrete. 5 years ago, I had a dream to build a house on my family farm so my kids could grow up there with me. Sangamon County almost crushed that dream. Sangamon County made it nearly impossible for me to simply buy a few acres for my own family to build a house on our family farm. Sangamon County made it so hard that I almost gave up. Thankfully, I didn't. All the while, you seem to be so willing, so inviting, to make it so easy for solar, data centers, AI to come in and destroy one of our most precious resources, our green fields, our fertile soils, and our ability to produce food. You make it so easy to harm the majority of rural Sangamon County or Morgan County residents for the gain of a small handful of the wealthy, some, most, I'm guessing, not even residents of Sangamon County. I'm sure many short-term building jobs are created, but many long-term jobs are taken away. Agriculture jobs are lost. Local farmers, farm employees, ag input suppliers, grain elevators, equipment dealerships, local rural banks, and many others will lose. Rural Sangamon County will lose. Data centers, home for AI. What is AI going to do for jobs? This is a short-term job gain for a long-term job loss. There appears to be a large solar farm in operation in Sangamon County. I don't know how the tax revenue system works, but what I do know is my property taxes are the highest they have ever been. My electrical bill is the highest it has ever been. The rural roads I drive on are the worst I've ever seen. The presence of county police officers in rural Sangamon County is almost non-existent. I don't know where this tax revenue goes, but it doesn't seem to be making a difference in the quality of life for real people like me that live in rural Sangamon County.
Next speaker.
Hi, I'm Danuta Dinda. I'm a medical researcher here at the School of Medicine. My speech is shot to all hell because everyone's already said things. What I can tell you is this. There is an economic researcher in Texas for the last 5 years has been studying the effects of data centers within Texas. They do not create new jobs. It's oftentimes a transfer of jobs from other places that are temporary at best. There is no economic benefit because they will fight tooth and nail once you approve this to get whatever credits they have and to appeal whatever they can appeal with their multi-million-dollar, 1,000-hour lawyers making it happen. The only benefits in all of my research since I've heard about this is to the people and the industries whose pockets are being lined, and that includes committee members that are now being investigated in other states who are voting against the people who they have been elected to support.
That's right.
To be our voices, to vote on our behalf. There's a township in Michigan who is recalling their entire board, and that is now going through the legal channels right now. That is very, very interesting. Every time I see pictures of data centers where they show all of the fancy, how nice the building looks, I never see any people that are supposed to be workers within that. You can fire your marketers. You should fire your marketers, because that's exactly what it is. The vast majority of jobs are remote. Most of them are not local. And when they say an average of $83,000 salary, let's remember an average, you have one person making $500,000 and the rest doing minimum wage. There's an average of $83,000. I grew up on a construction site. My father was a contractor.
That's time. Thank you.
Support them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next speaker.
Marty Fairchild, Rochester Fire Protection District Board of Trustees. I think it's wonderful that you're helping out Burton Fire Protection District with a ladder truck, but you need to remember that there's multiple agencies, other fire districts in Mavis 48, and we will all be coming to the natural disaster that takes out your data center.
That's right.
You need to have ongoing training and equipment upgrades for all the fire protection districts in Mavis 48. I would strongly urge you to contact the command staffs and the boards of trustees of these fire protection districts in Mavis 48 for some guidance on training and personnel and equipment. Thank you.
That's right.
Next speaker.
Good afternoon. My name is George Alexander, and I'm the Labor's Local 477's business manager. I heard someone say that 4 to 6 year job isn't really that much sustainability, but I'll tell you right now, it means a lot to the men and women of my union, because right now work is very scarce. You're not the one that's getting the calls that's saying they can't pay their bills or they're considering suicide. So I applaud Cyrus One for wanting to bring this job here and have local a workforce with a PLA on it. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say thank you to the men and women of my local that came tonight and the other unions, but it's very detrimental to the unions here in the town that we get this job. It's very dire need of it because work is very scarce. And that's all I care about is the men and women of Sangamon County and local areas working. They may not care to you because you have a full-time job and able to pay your bills. But when you get those notices of saying your electricity is about to get cut off and you can't feed your family, then maybe come to a union, because we at the laborers don't care only if you have a high school diploma. And when this job comes 4 to 6 years, come see me, I'll help you get in the union.
Yeah! Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening, my name is Chris Harmon, I'm the business manager for Operating Engineers Local 965. I came tonight, we've got many of our members here with a lot of the other building trades who are here to represent. This puts our men and women to work for 4 to 6 years. There's maintenance that's going to come along behind it. It's not just a 4 to 6 year project, it's going to last for years and years to come to maintain and to keep things running. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. It's been a long enough evening, it's going to be even longer. I would respect and appreciate your guys' support for this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Sarah Wonko. I'm a resident of Springfield and I am a member of ASME Local 3738. I am against this data center because I grew up in a small town and this all looks so familiar in the attitudes I'm seeing towards people who live in rural areas. The first meeting like this I ever attended, I was probably in about 5th grade. General Electric was coming to town and trying to put in a nuclear reprocessing project that had just messed up the water in a town a little ways away. Thankfully, it did not go through, but I am no stranger to how these corporations see rural areas and are like, oh, we'll put this dangerous thing there. the people there don't matter, and I think that's disgusting. I'm also speaking as a union member. I am a librarian. I work in a job that cannot be replaced by AI. I work with people on a daily basis who struggle with technology. My job requires sharp critical thinking and customer service skills. I know that my job can't replace by AI. I also know that that is not going to stop some corner-cutting bureaucrat at some point from trying to replace my job with AI. And I ask everyone who is claiming to care about workers when they're making their decision on this, think about how AI is being rolled out, how it's expected to put so many people out of work, which isn't just bad for the workers, but bad for everyone they serve. So I am going to ask the same question I've asked in probably most of my public comments at this point. Who does the county board work for? Do you work for the Springfield Sangamon Growth Alliance, for your donors, for the money and interest?
That's time. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next speaker. Thank you very much for operating that time clock there. Go ahead.
Good evening. It has been said you can't build long-term futures from short-term thinking. Say no to short-term tax breadcrumbs from a $15 billion out-of-state company that will further raise our electric bills, take farmland permanently out of production, and eventually give us another property to sit for decades as an eyesore with the burden on us to clean up. CyrusOne's community promises remind me of Nestle. They build playgrounds and infrastructure locally while draining the aquifer and selling your water back to you. And similar to CO2 pipelines, only those making money off of the project are in favor of the project. If they cared so much about union labor, they wouldn't use prefab modules for construction. I certainly hope everyone thinking about voting yes tonight has each of those bribes in legally binding writing. I'm here tonight calling for a 90-day pause on this vote, as Chairman Andy Van Meter himself said is a legal option, specifically to give the Illinois State Legislature an opportunity to pass data center regulation next month. This is not a kick the can without end, but a meaningful pause with a definitive end. We are addressing this project at a county level, but the strain on our electric grid is a larger issue. 70% of the rise in our electric costs across the nation last year were from data centers. Remember, this center specifically plans to use the same amount of energy as hundreds of thousands of homes. Sangamon County has fewer than 100,000, so that's about 4 times as much energy use as all of the homes in our entire county. And as we all know, adding to demand without adding to supply will increase costs, period. CyrusOne's lawyer failed to mention the majority of county board members had no idea this project would come to light 3 months after the essentially non-regulatory zoning ordinance was snuck in. That was not an informed decision. There might not have been an NDA, but SSGA certainly held that information tightly. They also failed to mention they're currently being sued in Aurora, because that's the only recourse. Let's not be next. The county board members whose districts are in and closest to the center don't want it.
That's
If a data
time.
center...
That's time. Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Brent Coleman, and I usually only come up here and talk about community things, so all of the numbers that are going on with all the lawyers don't really much mind. But what is abhorrent to me is the psychological gameplay of bringing all of our labor workers in here in order to try to put them against our communities and everything that goes along with it. We absolutely love our labor workers. We're all labor workers. We do our best to get by any way that we can. Making it up, us versus them, is simply abhorrent. Someone trying to live their lives and get money and pay their bills is what everybody is trying to do. Our communities that go along with it are also trying to live their lives and make their families happy and have the posterity. Why do you keep breaking? The posterity in order to go through and live everything that goes along with it. I'm upset about this. About the fact that a giant corporation can come in and try to say that it's your guys' fault that they're not able to get their job done. That is ridiculous.
I'm going to echo what many people have said here tonight about mental health and wellness. First, I'd like to acknowledge the hard work of the Massey Commission for getting the 708 Mental Health Board on the ballot and for
saying you got to come out and vote and showing that they care about mental health and wellness. This company doesn't. Data centers are exactly the opposite of mental health and wellness. We've heard all of the research tonight. You can go and do more. It disrupts sleep cycles. It disrupts, it causes anxiety. It causes distress. Long-term noise exposure does that. There's not a need to vote on this tonight, other than no. When we reach out to you as community members, we expect a response. The response we expect tonight is a no vote on this. We need more time to do more research. Short-term gain should not be traded for long-term destruction. You are beholden to your county constituents, and you need to remember we will hold you accountable. In closing, I'd like just to remind you, BP, Exxon, DuPont, 3 Mile Island, Cypress One.
Good evening. My name is Mike Murphy. I'm President and CEO of the Greater Springfield Chamber of Commerce, and I want to thank the board members for allowing me the opportunity to talk in favor of this project. I look forward to the beginning of construction when we will have, as been mentioned several times, 500 local union jobs that will give them the opportunity to support all of our businesses in our community. I talk all the time, do business with somebody who can do business with you, and that's exactly what this project will do. Once it's completed, I look forward to having the technology that we will need to make sure our businesses can advance and stay competitive. I started in business in 1979, I sold my last business in 2017, and I can tell you the biggest change was technology, and that's not going to stop. So we need this, whether, I hear some arguments against it, but we will need this to stay competitive. Finally, I want to thank CyrusOne for picking our community for a $500 million investment plus. I really appreciate that. I also want to thank the Springfield Sangamon Growth Alliance for their hard work on bringing this project to where it is today. And they haven't put a penny in my pocket. And once again, thank you, board, and I appreciate a yes vote.
Mr. Davis, thank you very much for running that clock there. It's really nice of you. Thank you.
Don't take my phone from me.
Go ahead. Next speaker, go ahead.
Can everybody hear me? Okay, good. Now, my name is Ruben. I'm a Springfield resident. I am an animator. I upload cartoons and stuff online. And as much as I am in massive support of union construction jobs, I feel like building a data center is severely misguided for many of the reasons that have been brought up tonight. Also, in addition to the fact that these kind of centers, they produce like AI-generated art and cartoons and stuff, and that would put me out of job. However, like I said, I do support union construction jobs. And I think we should be using that energy to build affordable housing right here on all these building lots of downtown. All of our local businesses in downtown will finally get the daily foot traffic to keep their doors open. And it would also, with all these new people living in downtown, it would create a tax base that Sangamon County has never seen before that could fund so many local stuff like schools, libraries, the rail improvement project, which could eventually lay the groundwork for high-speed rail connecting us to some of our biggest cities in the region. It's your choice, Sangamon County. We can build a data center, but we can build something that could benefit everybody.
Next speaker.
Good evening. My name is Amy McDaniels, and I'm a nearly lifelong Sangamon County resident and a member of a union household. I'm here tonight because there is nothing about this data center project that benefits Sangamon County. If the board approves this project, you will be selling us out for $30 million over 20 years, or $1.5 million, while Macoupin County receives nearly $70 million, and none of the overtly harmful environmental damages this project will cause to the people of Sangamon County. This supposed financial windfall from this project is a farce, just like so many of the other promises made by CyrusOne, who, as a reminder, is a multi-billion-dollar out-of-state company who is beholden only to their shareholders and clients and not to this community. It takes a simple Google search to see their blatant lack of care for the community they place these centers in. The people of Aurora are tormented day and night by the incessant noise pollution produced by the CyrusOne data center. Aurora is in the midst of rewriting the regulations due to the disturbances caused by CyrusOne data center, and the Aurora Director of Sustainability admits that the changes to regulations will only impact new projects. If this board votes yes on this project, you will be setting a precedent that is so harmful it is truly difficult to fully realize. I attended the zoning board meeting last week and was beyond dismayed to learn that the current zoning rules, which this project falls under, will not protect us when CyrusOne goes back on their promises. The county board does not have the administrative infrastructure in place to take on CyrusOne or to hold them accountable when that time comes. We have no reason to believe CyrusOne will be a good neighbor. In fact, we have all of the information needed to see that it will be the opposite. And we only need to look to Aurora. We aren't special. This project isn't special to them. This is just another day for CyrusOne, but this is a monumental day for Sangamon County.
Thank you. Just to those standing in line, you're welcome to comment tonight, but just think, if your comment has already been made, it's not necessary to answer. Go ahead, next speaker. Next speaker.
It's weird, so you don't like that comment.
I'm not
push it, hold on. Okay, hi, good evening. My name is Jordan Straw. I am, to be honest, a recent resident of Sangamon County, but before that, I had lived my entire life in Bergen, Illinois, Macoupin County. So I'm here tonight not only as a Sangamon County resident, but a previous Bergen resident. I urge and recommend you to vote no on the data center, not only for Sangamon County, but also the neighboring counties. Apologies for having to repeat what somebody else previously stated, but not only is it going to affect Morgan County, as in Waverly, but also Macoupin County, because Verdon, the majority of it is in Macoupin. There's only just a little spot of it that's technically Sangamon. I am very concerned about what is going to happen to not only with the noise pollution and the pollution, but also what's going to happen to the workers. When things eventually start to fall apart, they will be blamed for it, and that is not their fault. I do not want anybody to discourage or to reprimand union workers, because we are from a union town. That's right. We love unions, we're proud of unions. I'm deeply concerned that when this falls and this just completely go back on their word or things go awry, they're going to blame the workers. They're going to blame the unfortunate people who are in this situation who just wanted to get a job and be able to take care of their family. So respectfully, I'm asking for you to vote no on the data center and not only care for the citizens of Sangamon County, but also care for the rural towns that is not just Louder, but Waverly, Auburn, Dare, Verdon, Divernon, all of them. Don't care just about the big cities, also care about the small ones. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Hello, my name's Ron Fisher. I'm from Waverly, Morgan County. This whole thing came on, we learned about it, or I did, about 4 weeks ago. And it just seemed like you people knew about it in October, I understand. They're looking to us to supply water out of Waverly Lake. Waverly Lake right now is probably the lowest it's been in about 12 years.
That's right.
I've done a lot of research with the Department of Conservation and with the Water Survey Company. We don't have the water to supply this, but their response to it is that they have a sealed system that they use in some of these plants where they don't have to draw after they initially fill it up, that they can use it draw. But they don't explain it. They also have to go through and clean the pipes out once in a while. It's actually an antifreeze like you use in your automobile. Creates scale and different pollutants in that. They don't explain what we'll do with it. All I'm asking is somebody needs to answer some more questions. When they purchase, they say they're buying the water from Apple Creek Water District. Apple Creek Water District actually buys water from the city of Waverly. That's right. I was involved in the two sections of it. There's Apple Creek 1, which is south of Waverly, and Apple Creek 2, which is north. We take a big, large area of drainage all the way from the city of Ashland to Waverly. We rebuilt the dam twice since they've installed the lake. And hear about Apple Creek takes 385 customers on it. We have 600 and something customers on it. It amounts to 1,007 customers on that lake, and according to 2012 assessment by the Illinois Water thing, it's only supposed to support 770 residents. So we've already overdrawn that, but we're selling water. I don't know where the contract came through or who's involved with it, but like I say, it doesn't seem like our city officials knew too much about this until about 4 or 5 weeks ago.
That's time.
That's right.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. That's fine. Thank you. Next speaker.
My name is Ashraf Tamisdeen. I live in Springfield. I'm here to request you to reject, not only delay the proposal. I've had the opportunity of living in a city for a few days where the air pollution level is the highest in the world. And I can tell you from my personal experience that it's not a good place to be. You would like to stop breathing. People were calling in sick, young people. They were calling in sick because of the air pollution. The children were kept out of school because of air pollution. So all the promises of good jobs and schools that are being made, there will be no people to go to the job. There will be no children to go to that school. So I humbly request you to please absolutely reject this. I'll finish with 2 quotes from local American Indians. One is, we'll always be remembered by the tracks we leave. So please be on the right side of history. The second is that we do not inherit this earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. So please look up for your children. Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Andrea Walters. I do live here in Springfield. Thank you for allowing me to address the council this evening. I sent an email last week with numerous articles containing information from professionals addressing the risks associated with data centers. I can provide those references for any of the facts that I mentioned. I am opposed to moving forward with the CyrusOne data center near Auburn. I would at the very least ask that you reverse your recent decision and approve a moratorium to allow time for state legislature to be discussed that would provide guardrails and protection for the counties where data centers are built. It's only a month. There's a belief about what you can expect when you're looking for scams, and when somebody is trying to push something quickly, that's a red flag. There's no reason for this shouldn't be delayed until our legislature has a chance to catch up. I will skip the part about the noise because I think that's been covered tonight. Increasing dependence on fossil fuels is driving climate change, and this is wrapped around fossil fuels. An increase in extreme temperatures and weather events. We are experiencing a drought in Illinois at this time. Anyone that has been near Springfield Lake recently can clearly see how low it already is. Yes, we need progress in business, but not at the cost of our environment. The pollution risks that come from data centers emitting nitrogen dioxide and tiny inhalable particles that can harm people's lungs is a big problem. According to the National Institute of Health, the tiny inhalable particles cause between 100 and 200,000 premature deaths each year. What about the financial risk? There's always a risk with investment. Numerous sources warn of huge amounts of debt companies are incurring in the race to build more data centers. One expert stated this is a business model that hasn't exactly proved it can generate revenue or have a stable core to its demand.
That's time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next speaker.
Hello, I'm Robert Oxley. I live in District 7. I'm actually an IBW and ASME union member. My biggest question is why is such a big rush? Because this is a huge commitment for all the residents in Sangamon County. One of the things I see is right now there's an incentive program from the state of Illinois for data centers that the data center gets tax exempt. They get tax credit for 20% of the construction labor that's spent on the job. And to my union members, this PLA, it's not like they gave it to you out of their good heart. It's because this had to be part of the PLA to do this. Second thing is there's House Bill HB 2789, and it's in committee right now, and this is for keeping Soldier Field in Chicago. Now, they've included this to any project over $100 million. They get to keep the property tax rate at where it's at right now. So that tax rate is going to be what they're paying for that land right now. There are some caveats. I won't go into all that. But there's so many issues and unknowns. You know, if you can't vote no, then I recommend you at least delay vote until all these issues are squared away. Cyrus One states they want to be good neighbors, which I hope so. But the old saying is, good fences make good neighbors. The fence here is a signed, written contract to keep all the promises they made in us.
Thank you. Next speaker.
My name is Alexa Martini. I am a resident of Auburn and owner of a home built in 1877 that sits along Route 104, just a few miles from the proposed data center site. It feels hard to trust this as a big break for Sangamon when 70% of the tax breaks are leaving our county, even though many of these trucks will drive directly past my house on Route 104 with a home that sits less than 22 feet from the highway. My sister lives in Auburn with my niece and brother-in-law, which was a huge draw to the area for me. I worry about how this will impact my niece in ways we still don't fully understand. I worry about my neighbor who earns just $750 per month in Social Security benefits and $120 per month in food stamps. My energy bills have doubled since moving to Auburn, and that is before the data center is here. Where is my neighbor expected to go when she is priced out of living in Auburn, a town she has lived in most of her life? Do we care about her health and her future, or just 600 jobs? Because I'm very worried about my community, my family, and the future of rural America. My mom lives in nearby Thayer, where she reads books she checked out from Auburn Library and has wild foxes that visit her. She's counted 20 different bird species this year alone. She's built herself quite the sanctuary out there. She's worried about her foxes, and I don't blame her. In nearby Louder, my husband and I drive out to see the northern lights when they're visible. That site could now turn into Cyrus One, and it's devastating. There are so many downsides and seemingly very few positives, and the positives seem to touch very few people. Please don't let your vote tonight be one that we regret and feel forever. Sangamon deserves better, our children deserve better. This is not our legacy. No industry has successfully self-regulated, and it won't start here. Please vote no on Cyrus One. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Elliot Clay. My wife is Alexa. As you said, we live down in Auburn. Just as some background, I worked for Senate Republican staff for 4 years on the Agriculture Committee and the Environment and Conservation Committee. I worked for an environmental nonprofit for 6 years, and now I'm executive director for a group that advocates for soil and water conservation districts. I'm speaking on my behalf as just a private citizen right now, but having worked in the policy field regarding environment issues in agriculture, to reiterate what my wife Alexa just said, there has never been an industry in the history of the world that has self-regulated, period. And I want to say something, just one main thing that I think really just needs to be hammered home. The laborers that are here tonight, you've heard from a lot of people that say they support you, and we do. I also want to reiterate the fact that the reason that the Environmental Protection Act, the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act, and a number of these other things actually exist is because of issues that were brought forward by labor. I think about everything that has happened in Southern Illinois and the amount of thousands of acres of abandoned, unreclaimed mine land that is down there. The reason that it's sitting is because the companies that did that don't exist anymore. We don't even require that Cyrus One is going to file a surety bond on this thing to cover the deconstruction or contamination or anything that can happen. And we do it for a lot of other industries. and it seems reasonable. I'm not against this happening necessarily. I just want to know that there's assurances in there legally that we're going to be protected in the event that something does happen. I think that's a very reasonable thing to ask. I appreciate the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Marcus Robinson. I am a student at Lincoln Lane Community College as well as a resident of Sangamon County. I'm here tonight in staunch opposition to this proposed data center. I don't believe that this data center should be built at all. And to start with, I need to address the energy grid concerns. There's no established energy grid to this data center that I know of. Where are they going to get the energy from? It's kind of hard to tell, especially considering that Ameren just tried a price hike last year. Also last year, the state experienced a 15% increase in costs throughout the entire state. So, with all that being said, do we want this to end up like another Pillsbury plant on the north side of Springfield where it's left abandoned and it's just going to rot and contaminate the community around it and ruin it? Like the Pillsbury plant, it's going to have its labor outsourced, but this time it's going to be by AI and not by outsourcing to the other countries. 4 to 6 years of labor, but what about in 46 years when this data center creates an unrepairable environmental impact and also causes AI corporations to dominate the job market? Don't sentence the younger generations to a death march of AI overlordship, and instead, you should focus on what the people actually want, and to signify what the people want, I have a petition here of over 700 signatures that I'm willing to...
Hello again, my name is Jill Cripple. I'm sure you're sick of seeing me. I'm tired of speaking to you. But I can't stand by and stay silent. None of us can. And unlike these data centers, we're not going anywhere. The last time we were here, CyrusOne was asked to set a minimum amount of local labor they'd use. Building trades had already walked out, so didn't hear that CyrusOne couldn't guarantee they'd hire even a single local laborer. They weren't sure if our people could handle the job. In their oral testimony at the Zoning Board of Appeals hearing, they said that they had a commitment to bargain a project labor agreement in their application, but their slides submitted as evidence, the same ones we saw today, implied that they already had a project labor agreement. If they have conflicting testimony on labor, what else are they being shady about? Speaking of the Zoning Board of Appeals hearing, what was going on with their chair saying that no one could get sworn in under penalty of perjury, that people had to swear to God or they wouldn't be able to speak? And then he went on some weird rant about foxes and deer not existing. We know these data center companies already think that we're just some backwoods idiots that will believe anything they tell us, so way to lean into that stereotype. Anyway, anything living near this data center, the plants, the cattle, the humans, may see health problems from noise and polluted air due to the hundreds of generators and the giant diesel tanks they each have. They're the kind that are legally allowed to run 24/7 to sell energy back to the grid. And a 1.8 gigawatt data center was just approved to be built a couple hours up the road. So who knows? The solar farm across the street will cause the noise to carry for miles. We know that CyrusOne will violate our rules and regulations like they have been doing at all of their other locations in Illinois. Sangamon County isn't even getting much tax money from this, so how are we going to pay to effectively combat violations? CyrusOne's property tax reassessments were backdated at their other sites, so a larger cut of the tax might not be enough anyway. And they have no clue about a decommissioning plan. They've never done it before, as they said in their testimony. I urge you to vote no. Thank you.
My name is Stephen Lambert. I am a resident of Sangamon County. I actually live in Miami. I'm a volunteer firefighter. I'm a father, most importantly. My daughter's 8. She's a pretzel over in New Berlin. And I have a lot of vested interest. And tonight, I just wanted to share really news, and we keep talking about bring some new things. If you didn't know, I'm really speaking to you as the mayor of Loambi. I don't represent every single idea, every person, But about 3 weeks ago in our board meeting, we passed a resolution, which was our moratorium preemptively. And I want to point out, if you know our board, we have vastly different opinions and political ideologies. All 6 of them unanimously said, we should do this. We should get ahead and at least take the time to do our research, look at what the state does, look at what the county does. I'm really proud of our community, and I want to give you a reason to delay. If Loami can do it, as someone said, the county can do it too. And so that's me delivering the news today. Thank you as always for your time and your opinion of our future generations.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, Terry Arnold. I live in northern Macoupin County, and I've got a couple things here that haven't really been discussed too much. And one was the gentleman from Waverly about the waters, and also the contamination of if they have a leak. According to what I read on the closed loop systems, which is the water keeps circulating and they put additives in it. Once a month, they do what they call a blowdown. Okay, where does this blowdown chemicals? There's nitrates, glycol, and metals in this stuff that's circulating around. When they do a blowdown once a month, where does that go? That's what I want to know right now. Then also, I read unplanned drain down. If they have an issue like maybe up in Aurora where the lines froze and then you're having liquid spilling out, what are they going to do with the contaminated groundwater? And then the next thing, on Sangamon County's website, they said that they were zoned, the data center was zoned agriculture. Well, why isn't zoned agriculture? It should be zoned commercial. In Aurora, the citizen there said that their data center was zoned as a warehouse. That's not a warehouse. That's a business, a commercial business, which has industrial stuff in it with chemicals. So we need to address these things here. And then getting back to the zoning.
That's time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker.
Hi there, my name is Todd Brummett. My wife and I live in rural Auburn. Listen, I understand that the data centers are a necessary evil. And speaking here, I hope this is not just a formality speaking against it. But after seeing the Auburn Citizen, I saw there was a letter paid by the zoning and planning staff written in a positive spin for the data center. Listen, despite that, I'm hoping to reach enough of you to say no on this board and consider other options that do not involve swallowing up farmland in chunks. People who are already out there have to look at a 3-mile by 8-mile solar farm with plenty of red blinking lights and windmills. When is enough enough? Ironically, the farmer involved and his family do not have to look at these things, and most of you on the zoning and planning staff and Sangamon County Board, I bet you don't either. There are, wouldn't we rather use existing buildings or have buildings that are already established in industrial areas to be used? Build in those areas. Listen, the definition of a farmer is a person who manages or operates a farm, engaging in the cultivation of land, crops, and raising livestock and animals for food and fiber and other agricultural products. You know, you're called to be good stewards of your land if you're a big farmer or a small farmer. Listen, Delson's website even says they farm and lead with integrity, honesty, and advanced agronomy. No, they don't. This is not it. Zoning in South Florida said they have 200 acres is 1 drop of water to 16-ounce bottle of water, since we have 453,000 tillable acres. Listen, it's already filled up with Not 232 other data centers,
That's-
solar
that's time.
farms, windmills,
That's time.
and other
Thank you.
industries.
That's time.
Listen,
Next speaker. That's time, sir. That's time. Next speaker. Next speaker, please. Next speaker, please.
Hello everyone, my name is Veda Keen and I'm 15 years old. I'm not quite old enough to vote or drive on my own, but I am old enough and smart enough to care about future generations. And as a lifelong resident of Sangamon County, chances are I have shared green space and fresh air with your children, grandchildren, nieces and nephews, and neighbors in soccer, basketball, girls on the run, and now track and field over the course of our lives. If we want to live a long, healthy life like those of you that are making decisions about our future, please vote no tonight on the proposed data center resolution so we can take a more thoughtful approach to protect our environment, which will position us for better economic growth in the future. Thank you for considering the future and quality of life for young people like me, and please vote no.
My name is Ruth Taylor, and I actually live in Rochester. I've lived there for more than 30 years, and what I'm most concerned about is this amount of water that they may need to use. My house is over 100 years old, and it didn't start leaking until the people just before I bought the house tried to improve the basement, and they drove the wrong nails into the foundation. There was no sign of water in my basement ever before. In the first year or two that we were there, it would come up through the floor, right across the floor, so basically I had water in my whole basement. And that went on for years. To use the basement, I put the blocks and boards in my basement. Unfortunately, our water table must have gone down over the years. Because like I said, I've been there 30 years, same house, nothing's really changed much. Rochester's had a couple of subdivisions there and things, but I have not had water in my basement for over 5 years. So the water, because it's coming from the floor and not the sides, it's water table. And so I worry about, will we have enough water? I mean, if you've been to your doctor, he tells you to drink more water. Everything needs water. So I really think that we need some sort of study. How much has the water table gone down with what we've got, and how is the data center going to impact the water that we have? Is it, it'll accelerate it, but how much will it accelerate it? It's something to really worry about, I think. So that's my main concern, is that water, and we need to get a study to see what's going to happen. Also, because of climate change, the soil is drying out faster. So we're losing water in the soil too. So we're losing water everywhere, and we need to address it before we give it away.
Thank you.
So, the data center's plan to follow the national emission standards for hazardous air pollutants was mentioned earlier. For a little context, according to EPA.gov, quote, national emission standards for hazardous air pollutants are stationary source standards for hazardous air pollutants. Hazardous air pollutants are those pollutants that are known or suspected to cause cancer or other serious health effects, such as reproductive effects or birth defects, or adverse environmental effects, end quote. As you can see, these standards are quite low. The truth is, even though the data center won't cause cancer and birth defects, it will still threaten our air quality, hurt our community and its animals with low-frequency noises, increased electricity demands, and generally disrupt everyday life for the residents of Sangamon County. We deserve better. As well as this, it was claimed that construction workers would gain jobs from the building of this data center. And while this is true, let me provide you with a few facts by National University. 30% of US jobs could be automated by 2030. 300 million jobs could be lost to AI globally, representing 9% of jobs worldwide. By 2030, 14% of employees globally will have been forced to change their career because of AI. Entry-level jobs are especially vulnerable, with 50 million US jobs at risk in coming years. As entry-level roles decline, salary expectations are also shifting downward. AI's impact is expected to be most disruptive in the next 10 to 30 years, with a possible 50% of jobs automated by 2045. So yes, short-term jobs will be given to construction workers. However, long-term effects include job loss due to AI and an expected decline in entry-level wages. No matter what party you belong to, what your class or job is, what labels you assign yourself or what labels others assign you, we all deserve a healthy environment, a stable income, and a good quality of life. This data center directly revokes these rights. It is our right to disallow any policies or center which directly negatively affects us and our community. So let's utilize that right. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Keith Tuxhorn. I first would think you would want to delay at least one meeting because you need to go home and listen to find the financial news of the day, which had a focus on the type of credit payments that BlackRock uses to finance all their vast projects and how it is crumbling fairly rapidly right now. So perhaps you need to check that. You have had, for 3 months now, you've had access to assistance to research on 15 years of history of these centers from all the people who've been speaking in opposition. Good and bad news. The concerns of county citizens were covered in detail in this, on water and power use, noise and other pollution, shutdown and cleanup costs, and economic compensation and guarantees to the county. The research showed hundreds of problems on these topics, which have led to lawsuits, economic deception and disappointment, continuing damage to our air, water, and lifestyles, and increased disrespect of elected officials who took little or no action to protect their citizens. Some places have banned data centers completely, as you know. This company is no different from those that have gone before. They play the same games. They're not building their own safe energy sources. They'll be reducing our tax benefits very quickly. And their sales pitch includes plenty of little lies that just won't happen because we don't have them under any kind of contract. You can delay this vote for a while and do the right thing. Make a revised agreement that will protect our county. Let me give you 3 places to start. They've been mentioned. Guarantee annual payouts. Guarantee that none of this diminishing stuff. Require on-site solar and or wind power for this facility. And shut down guarantees to make sure we're not stuck with that kind of cost. If you let Cyrus One dictate every condition to you, you have failed the standards of what your job is to do.
My name is Salem Addison King. I am a resident of Sangamon County, an environmental scientist, and the youngest person in the United States who still reads newspapers. As such, I saw the recent report the recent staff report from Sangamon County that was published in the Illinois Times last week. Reading through it was a very frustrating experience, but as I've only got 2 minutes, I'm going to focus on the question in that staff report: how much noise do data centers typically generate, and what measures are used to manage or reduce noise levels? Very important question. Let's look at their answer. The county ordinance regulates permissible noise. That is what an ordinance does, yes. The issue of noise has focused on the backup generators that these data centers require. Very true. Under normal conditions, each diesel generator is tested on 1 day a month for 30 minutes. Neat. How much noise does it generate then? Our building code requires that the noise be baffled. Neat. How much noise does it generate then? Data centers must operate within state EPA regulations. Neat. How much noise does it generate though? Not once has that been answered by Cyrus One or Sangamon County. Decibels are a form of measurement we have access to. They are not providing that number for a reason. Cyrus One is lying to us. And most egregiously, they are lying to the union workers in the audience tonight. Unions exist for one reason and one reason only. Unions exist because you can't trust corporations to keep their promises. So I urge the Sangamon County Board tonight to vote no on this data center and any other data center that might come before you in the future.
Hello, my name is Kathy Bendis. I was not expecting to speak tonight.
Can you pull the microphone closer?
Sure. I'm the owner of Gillette Kennel, located very close to the site. I'm very concerned of how the noise is going to impact the dogs that I care for. People bring their dogs to me because I'm in a quiet country setting, and now that's proposed to change. I also live there on my 176-year-old property that was bought by my great-great-great-great-grandpa on January 23rd, 1850. And I'm really sad to see that this is what it's going to be coming to, that I won't be able to enjoy the property anymore, that I won't be able to give the care that I have always promised to my clients. I'm afraid this will be the end of my business, and I was here first.
I'm Shane Meadows, Kathy's husband, country boy, born and bred. She's has to buy a license for her kennel, commercial. Why aren't these people buying a commercial license? Next thing, my son is an operator in this union. I'm 100% behind unions, but not for people like this. Also, I wasn't supposed to keep talking about the noise. I'm a mechanic for a living. I work on generators. And if you think that 1 mile from the Cyrus One building that I'm not going to hear that, it's actually just under 1 mile. You can go blow smoke up somebody else's ass. Because I'm We've got one question for all of you Sangamon County people, board members. Appreciate everything all of you do, but do the right thing. If that was you that lived 1 mile away, would you want to sit out in the backyard with your grandkids, which was going to be their property one day?
Right.
You wouldn't want it. You wouldn't want it there. Have a nice evening.
Good evening, everyone. Many of you have heard the terms, well, it's not in my area, so it's not my concern. Well, with everything going on in the world, the threat to the homeland is also a concern. A soft target is defined as minimally secured location that is vulnerable to attack. So why would we put a soft target in the middle of nowhere? Courthouses and government buildings have armed guards and countermeasures to protect the facilities. Now, they may have some, they might keep them secret, but right now I'm talking. Imagine what would happen if hackers attacked the power grid. And would they just hit that building? No. They would attack the Lincoln Land power plants, because that is something bigger. And it would affect all of us. Same thing with the water districts and distributions. Hack that. Not there, all over. Let's bring everyone down, not just that small little building. Also, what about physical attacks? Just recently, a man drove a vehicle into a power substation in Las Vegas. Imagine an attack where thousands of gallons of fuel and chemicals were released and drained to our water table and possibly Springfield Lake. Could the local first responders, who are some of them are volunteers, handle the incident? And if it's an active threat, they will not be going in there until our local law enforcement neutralizes the problem. So the whole time, those chemicals are going into the water. Well now, it's now in your area, So now it is your concern. I only have 27 seconds. I think that can stop. But who cares? Also, electromagnetic fields and the noise. We talk about the noise. I was a beekeeper in California. I had 100 hives. I lost my hives to a hive collapse syndrome.
That's time, sir.
Okay, that's
Thank
at
you.
27 seconds. Okay, thank you very much.
CyrusOne is a multi-billion-dollar corporation with a major private equity shareholder. They don't care about us. They only care about maximizing shareholder value, and as of late 2025, reports indicate CyrusOne has moved towards using more third-party personnel rather than in-house staff at their data centers, a shift which only benefits BlackRock. They may have a PLA agreement, but if CyrusOne actually cared about union labor, like they claim, they'd have a permanent job guarantee. However, that would be a poison pill to their BlackRock shareholders, since CyrusOne plans to fuck it up us all to maximize profit for shareholders. I urge Sangamon County Board to vote no on this proposition.
I'm Sam Sinclair, a 33-year member of Local 137. So this, to me, first I want to say thank you, CyrusOne and Sangamon County Board, vote yes. This is the largest building boom the United States has seen since the end of World War II. So it's going to happen, whether it happens in Illinois or happens where around the country. We have to have data centers. Who's got an iPhone in here? Who's got a phone in here? All of you looked at your speeches and wrote on the chat GPT, I guarantee you. So, there's that. The second thing is, I mean, there's a lot of hard work going by you guys, by us, by everybody. It's not about the jobs. I'm doing a job in North Dakota right now, a data center in Springfield, Illinois. So I get the work. That's not the problem. The problem is we need this kind of industry in Illinois, and this county will be lucky to have it here. We've pushed away more business than we've brought in.
Folks, look, it's getting late. I know it's getting late, but we've been really great about listening to each other. Let's continue. Go ahead, finish, please.
I don't really have much else to say. I'm just saying that this is going to happen whether you want it or not in the United States. So I say vote yes, and let's get this done and take Cyrus One. Thank you.
Most of what I was going to say tonight has already been said, so I want to thank our coalition team and all the residents who have researched this project and made statements tonight. I do need to respond to the iPhone AI thing. So the only thing that uses my phone for AI is Apple tracking my data, listening to my phone calls, and translating it. The only thing I'm going to repeat is the intent of these regulations is to protect public health, safety, and community welfare. If you vote yes on this permit based solely on the fact that it meets zoning regulations, then you obviously don't give a damn about our health, safety, and welfare. Approving this for tax revenue and jobs takes into consideration the welfare of the minority of residents. Don't be bullied into protecting the few when the health and welfare of the many must be protected. I will say that if this permit is approved, we will be researching other means of protecting our health, our safety, and the welfare of community members. People that are in the adjacent area with the businesses need to be compensated for the damage to their business. And then finally, I'm going to formally ask for a copy of the community benefits agreement signed for this project. I tried to get one for the Double Black Diamond. I was told it doesn't exist. I was told I couldn't have it because Springfield Growth Alliance negotiated it. So this is, I'll even mention tonight, there is a community benefits agreement. If you allow this to be negotiated with the Growth Alliance, you have done us a disservice because we can't see that. It's a community benefits agreement. The community should be able to see what's been negotiated.
To the Sangamon County Board, you guys are from the area. I want you to picture something. I grew up in the shadow of Fiat Alice. I grew up in the shadow of the Pillsbury plant. I live in an area affected by a mine that was there over 100 years ago. These are the short-sighted visions of men who couldn't think bigger than right now. These are the effects that I live with. My house has had to be fixed from that subsidence. We already know what happened with Pillsbury. How long is that going to take? How much work has already been put in? How many generations have suffered from the groundwater pollution, the offshoots from that asbestos? You need to think long and hard about what you're asking from the generations ahead of you, not the people that live there now. I worry about them as well, but we're talking decades from now. Do you know how long it took to clean up Fiat Alice? Generations. Do you know how long it took to clean up Pillsbury? Generations. Still not done. And that's where you need to really consider that. When we talk about what this really means for the community, not a windfall in taxes, not about the noise level, but what it means for your children's children. Because that is the effect it will have. You, most of you, impolitely saying this, will be long gone by the time those effects land. I will, if I'm lucky, be a very old man to see your mistake come to fruition if you choose to move ahead on a technology and a choice that is moving so rapidly you should be questioning why. When people move with haste, errors are made, and when they want to move that fast, with that much money involved, with every problem that arises, more money comes out of their pocket. Shake that piggy bank, see what else shakes loose. Because I guarantee you they'll keep paying. Because there are billionaire-size level pockets behind these movements, and they don't care about our environment, they don't care about your kids' kids. And if we're going to talk about labor, I'm going to know you guys are a long way from Blair Mountain.
That's time.
Your relatives, your ancestors.
Who's the next speaker? That's time. Next speaker.
I'm Brianna Day. So I first want to thank the laborers who are here. Thank you for coming out and showing your support, whatever that support may be. I want to thank everybody who is also in yellow for coming out. And thank you for showing your support, whatever your support may be. With that said, the reason why I take that stance is because the things that you are fighting against have been happening for decades. So the fact that we are just now having these very heated arguments is kind of frustrating. And so I encourage everyone, if you don't want a data center built, the easiest way to do it would be to regulate your data. Go to your senators and talk to them about it, because then we wouldn't even have a data center, because the people who are collecting your data wouldn't have it in the first place. As somebody who tried to stay in a hotel that P. Diddy stayed in, and I wasn't even allowed to stay in it, my son and I were literally sitting on the street of Chicago. I was bawling my eyes out because I thought we were going to have to go to a homeless shelter for a night because we were going to a doctor's appointment. But because of everything that's going on, we weren't allowed to stay at that one hotel. So I implore everybody in yellow, please contact your senators. Please start focusing on data regulation. All of your laborers, please just continue to still fight for jobs. We need both. And to all of our politicians, don't be an octopussy and start voting for your citizens.
My name is Julia Rozier, and I think also a lot of the points that I want to make have been covered. I think Bree was getting at was the question of sustainability, and I just want to remind everybody, Indigenous Peoples Day was passed for the first time this year in Springfield, and I learned that the Patamanui word, Sangaman, actually means land where there is plenty to eat. It does not mean land where there is plenty of data centers. And I also want to address the fact that we have a few false dichotomies going on. The idea that Tara brought up about it being union versus not union, that's a false dichotomy. I also want to bring up the false dichotomy about AI versus not. AI was actually very helpful in coming up with my original prepared remarks, which I've changed, but it very quickly listed all the places that have successfully blocked data centers. It very quickly pointed out all of the egregious reasons that a data center might choose to place a mark on a place like Blake Springfield, a place that they frankly see as vulnerable. They want to make you feel like you're the prettiest girl at the ball. They want to make you feel special. And I would just ask that you realize the dignity and the story of what Sangamon County actually and Springfield truly deserves. Think of the long-term sustainable impact. Don't have to look at all of these union workers 5 years from now and look at the disappointment and the anger in their eyes. And don't be like the sad, lonely girl at the bar. Don't give it up for Cyrus One.
Hi. I'd like to thank the Sangamon County Board members that are here that are paying attention to their constituents, listening to what we have to say, and not playing Snake on your phone or texting your wife. I do appreciate you guys. I also want to say that several years ago, Ameren came to this area and they built the high voltage power line that you saw in that drone footage, and that was scheduled to go right through my front yard. And I turned down a very large sum of money because I did not want to be that close to a power line. I pushed them as far as they can, and they moved it 260 feet from my front door. I had no say in that. I tried to fight against it. Nobody listened. Then there was a solar farm built. I had no control over that, over where it went, where it was going to be, or how large it was going to be. And now, living in Tornado Alley, if a tornado were to hit that solar farm, it would rain glass and all of the toxic elements that are in the solar panels right on my property and ruin it forever. There's also the wind farm that is also new out there. Same thing. If a tornado were to hit that and shred those blades, it's going to rain that carbon fiber all over my property, possibly, and it would ruin it forever. And I do not want that for my house, for your house, for anybody near this place. It scares me, and I do not want to be around it. As for the data center, I am not interested in having more infrastructure in that area. When Ameren brought that power line in, they said it would be great for business. My small business saw nothing from it. When they brought the solar farm, it'll be great for local business. My small business saw nothing. When they brought the wind farm in, you'll see business. My small business sees nothing.
Yeah, and to the point of saying something that no one here has heard. My name is Christopher Sims, and I represent Illinois People's Action as a community organizer. I just moved here about 2 months ago from Rockford, Illinois. At this very moment, Rockford, Illinois is fighting a $12 billion data center. So is Beloit, Wisconsin, just north of us. So is Janesville, Wisconsin, just north of Beloit. So I want to be able to go back to Rockford one weekend and say that this board said no to a data center that nobody is probably in this state or in this area wants. And that's all I need to say. Thank you.
My name is Elizabeth Swihart. I did not plan to talk tonight. I plan to listen. But I want to say something that very few people have said. You've heard about the environmental costs, you've heard about the sound and the noise and the pollution, the damage that it will do to farm ground. I grew up 30 minutes north of here in the middle of a cornfield. I know what it's like to not feel like I have a voice in this state. The local elections are the only place that my vote has ever counted for anything in this state, because everything else is decided by the big cities. And when you live out in the country, it doesn't matter. You're going to get outvoted. Whether you agree or disagree, the city is going to win the vote. You have heard hundreds of people raise their voice tonight to voice their concerns. I beg you, this is the one level of government in central Illinois that our voice is guaranteed to be heard and not outsourced our vote to Chicago. So please, please listen to these votes. I grew up on a well. I know what it's like to live through a drought and have to shut the water off as soon as you get wet to shower, turn it back on to rinse once you've soaked. I know what it's like to have to haul in water because your well is contaminated and you can no longer drink it. I know that if you have diesel generators, incidental spills are gonna happen because that's happens when you fill up your car with gas at a gas station. And I also know that Illinois passed Oklahoma as the #1 state for tornadoes last year. It is not a question of if a tornado comes through central Illinois, it is a question of when, especially in the middle of a cornfield. I know, I watched many from my front yard as a kid, 30 minutes up the road. So please, please be the people that I think you are. Please hear these concerns. And please act in the best interest of your constituents.
Hello, my name is Dylan Mayoka. I'm a lifelong resident of Sangamon County. I'm a part of a family of farmers of 8 generations. We've been here since 1811, and this is going to be right next to our family farm. We put blood, sweat, and tears into this area for generations, and I work in the IT industry. I've worked in data centers. It doesn't take that much to maintain them, but it sure is a pain in the ass when you try to get rid of them because we don't know where to put them. I'm speaking for my whole family, and I don't know, I guess what I'm even saying, but we need to say no to this, because if we don't say no now, they will keep coming, and we will no longer be the identity of a place where there's plenty to eat. We'll be a place of metal and a place of things that we can't get rid of, just like the Pillsbury plant. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm extremely familiar with the area that this facility is proposed to be in. And I just want to point out something that I don't think anyone has mentioned yet tonight. If this facility were to move 3 miles west, it would be in Morgan County, which has absolutely no unincorporated ordinances or restrictions. So the same people who are going to be immediately impacted by this at the location that's being proposed are going to would still be impacted if it were to simply move 3 miles west, and none of you would have a single thing to say about it. It would be using the same high voltage transmission lines. It would still be using Apple Creek Water District, which is coming from Waverly Lake. I'm not asking you to vote yes. I'm not asking you to vote no. I just want to point out that what you're arguing for and against may be a moot point by them simply moving it 3 miles to the west, and it still impacts the same people. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Noah Thuma. I'm 27 years old. I'm a homeowner. I've been in Springfield since I was an infant. I'm also an Eagle Scout. This data center is not too far removed from Camp Bunn, which is where I frequently spend summers, and I would hate to see any downwind effects from this project affect that area in future scouts. I'm also terrified by the environmental ramifications of this project and other data centers. We need to strike this down. We need to not allow this in our area. We don't even know if the AI boom is going to last. We don't know if these data centers are going to do anything other than take our data and leave us with a lot of concrete that we have to tear down later. I'm not worried about 4 to 6 years from now. I'm worried about 10 years from now, when I'm hoping to start a family, 30 years from now, when I might still be in the area and having grandchildren, 100 years from now, when no one in this room is still here, and we're left with this blight that certainly will not be around. Empires always fall, businesses will fail. I implore you to vote this down. I think I've counted no more than 5, maybe 6 people in this line that have been speaking in favor of it. I urge the members of the board, please listen to the people. We are vastly against this. If you are voting yes, you are showing that you are not listening to the people. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Evan. I just wanted to firstly thank all of the union folks that stayed, after their side spoke. My grandfather was a chairman of the UAW Locals 1027. He was part of the bargaining committee at the Fiat Alice plant in Springfield for a very long time. In 1977, I do believe, he died in his 40s due to colon cancer caused by asbestos. Now, that just kind of goes to say it's happened a lot to many people that worked in that plant. These folks are going to tell you guys whatever you want to hear to get you to be on their side and to work against other working class folks and work against your own best interests to build this giant plant that is not going to benefit anybody in the long term besides them, because they make more money in an hour than any of us do in a year. Right. That's the only thing that matters to them is money. None of us matter. None of these people are from here. The only thing that they care about is making money off of us. They want to come into our small communities and try and put this on us before we can research the things properly, before we know anything about the long-term effects of this. And I'm at a loss for words, honestly, sorry. They just want to throw this in our laps and then run away once everything's all fucked up in 10 years, you know what I mean? It's going to completely destroy the environment. There's not going to be any long-term jobs. They're going to outsource all that. Who knows what else they're going to outsource? These people lie constantly. They lied about the plant in Aurora. That's their entire job, is to lie to people like you and me so they can get what they want. Don't pass this. Don't build this shit in our fucking city. Please.
Hi, my name is Trey Carruthers. We live on the farm. We have land adjacent to the proposed data center. I've been there for a long time, 152 years. Not us personally, but the family has. We raise livestock. There's a lot of livestock down Carruthers Road, which we got, I assume we've been there long enough that they named the road after us, so. I can't imagine the noise. I mean, it's peaceful out there. I'm usually there late at night. You can hear, the animals long ways away, dogs barking, coyotes barking. The diesel noise will be terrible. I know they say it's going to be EPA compliant, but it's still noise. And I'm sure most of you, when I talked at the last meeting, the zoning board meeting, it's in Lake Watershed or Lake Springfield watershed, so I know a couple other people have said that, but anything that happens there will end up in Lake Springfield, so I would think people in Springfield would be nervous about the drinking water, or people on the council would be concerned about that. Accidents happen. When the solar farm went in, there's 4,000 acres. You guys, the union did a good job putting it in. It's nice and straight, looks nice. But the council, I don't know if it's the same members or not, but you guys approved that. But there's 1 million bushel of corn that doesn't come out of that every year. That affects a lot of jobs. You guys are worried about creating 100 jobs plus the steady jobs and then the union workers' jobs, but
That's time, Mr. Carruthers.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is G. Yamasaba. I'm a resident of Springfield and a farm landowner in North Macoupin County. Also from a union household, so I respect what the unions are here for and for their jobs. But when I look at this, and I look at the Sangamon County Growth Alliance, I don't see much that they've done for Sangamon County. The two big things they tout on their website are for the Dawson and Thelma family, the Black Diamond Mine, and now for this data center project. Mike Murphy, our senators here, you're advocating for this project. What have you all done in the past 4 or 5 years, wherever you've been in charge, to get more actual good manufacturing jobs or real tech jobs in Sangamon County? Illinois doesn't have the energy capacity going forward to even support this place either. So it's very ironic to me that the only people we've heard talk for this to go through are people that are profiting from it.
Yeah, that's
The union leaders, the construction leaders, and the Thomas and Dawson family. That's it. Everybody else that spoke against this, we've got salespeople, we have healthcare people, we have teachers, we have doctors, we have farmers, from not just Sangamon County, but from Coupon County and Morgan County. If this isn't enough for our Sangamon County board to realize that we need to pause this, then you all are getting voted out. 30 years from now, maybe 10 years from now, 20, 30, when people are driving around what used to be a beautiful part of Illinois that now looks like it's from a movie, and they see that, they're like, who were these idiots that decided this was a good idea? And it's going to be all of you.
Hello, my name's Kayla. I am a 2019 graduate of Waverly High School. I grew up 1 mile from the proposed site, and I would urge you guys to vote no. I have some serious concerns as well as everybody else, but I want you guys to know that we have a 60-head herd of cattle 1 mile from there, and we have a building that holds 13,000 chickens. We could put 13,000 chickens right back in that building tomorrow. We can fill it with any livestock that we want. We're not going anywhere. Please, please, please protect this land that is going to be eradicated forever. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joe Bates. I'm a proud Teamster member. I thought I'd get up and be the last one to talk. Looks like no one else, but I see my friends coming up, so I appreciate you coming up too. First of all, I would like to ask the board members, a raise of hands, who would you would live within 1 mile of this data center? Raise of hands.
Sir, sorry.
I'll do whoever wants.
Go ahead,
Thank you.
go ahead.
For my brothers and sisters, union members, who of you would live within 1 mile of this data center? Please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I'm sure we can get a GoFund going for you guys to move there. I've learned a lesson a long time ago. Don't shit where you eat. So think about that. One last thing. If it quacks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, it's a duck. This company has been all over. Everywhere it's gone, nobody's going around and said, oh, bring this to your town, it's been great. Oh my God, we made so much money on taxes. You only see people complaining about it. So I would first tell you to vote no, but if you're not going to vote no, at least pause 90 days. Think about it a little more. Thank you, everyone.
My name is Harlan Boy. I'm with Local 477. I didn't plan to talk tonight, but I just heard some things and I just want to say my feelings back to what was said. To start, I've learned something a long time ago too, and it was from my parents. Everything I heard up here, most of the things I heard up here and the concerns I seen are very valid. But most of that I heard were what ifs, what ifs, what ifs. My dad taught me when I was 5, you can what if all the way out the fucking door. You know what I mean? You gotta know what's going on. You can't just what if. And I'm sorry your grandfather suffered from something of mesothelioma. As a union worker, we get trained in taking asbestos out. Those people who have a problem with the Pillsbury building, that's being taken down by asbestos workers, union workers that are certified, trained through the state, take that down properly so no one else gets sick. in our community. That's us taking it down for you. The jobs being temporary, I have a union, my family's union, I have a union state employee that is in my family also. Your guys' jobs are permanent. You know where you're gonna go to work tomorrow. Right now I haven't been to work since November. I have 3 children. One's in college, one's 4, and one's 16, a range of children. I haven't been to work since November. You think this job is just temporary, but that's where we get our work. Our work is temporary. My last job was a 2-year job, and I was happy it was 2 years. We get 6-month jobs, 3-month jobs, 1-year jobs. To see something so large that could benefit so many people in your community, you think it's just temporary, but that 5-year job would make so many people comfortable, not have anxiety about how to pay their bills, not have anxiety about how to feed their children, not have anxiety about how to put gas in their car. I didn't come here to talk, but I just want everyone to think about those things also. I think your concerns are very valid. I think your environmental concerns are very valid.
That's time. Thank you.
Awesome. Hi guys, my name's Josh. I have a family that has been in paving, Myers Paving, maybe you know them, maybe you don't. And my dad and his close friend used to work with asbestos. It's actually what gave me cancer when I was 2. And that's not a what if, that is what happened because of short-sightedness in our city. And this is continued short-sightedness because there are so many issues that are going to occur with very, very little benefit. I get that the 6 years is going to be good for the 100 people, but it's not going to be good for anyone else. Why are we focusing on uplifting a corporation when we should be worrying about locally? That is what we need to be focusing on. Yes, we need jobs. Yes, that is vital to making sure that families survive. But what is not vital is uplifting BlackRock even more. I don't want to see my nephews get sick from these pollutions like I got sick from asbestos. That is what is the most important thing, is the future generations, not today and what we can benefit from a data center that we do not need. We do not need AI stealing ideas from us, stealing our information, stealing everything that makes us us, because it does not create, it just destroys.
Hi there, my name's Lisa Harding. I'm a proud member of the IUOE Local 965. I didn't intend as well to speak tonight. First thing I'd like to mention is I'm very proud of how all the tradespeople in this room were very respectful as opposed to some of the other people in here. We would all like to have healthy, safe families and be able to support our families. Whether we like it or not, this data center will be built in Illinois. It's going to be built.
There's $19 being
So, that being said, you had your chances to talk, it's my turn.
That's order.
It will be built somewhere. Right now, it's a chance to put many, many people to work. If anyone, I heard a doctor up here earlier talking about decibels and how loud it was and how far away it was. I teach safety and health to our members, okay? We're the ones in the big machines with the diesel engines, okay? What I would ask of everybody in here is to do a little more research, okay? See how many decibels and how it goes down as far away, the further away you get from it. Bottom line, I just want to say I am very proud of the union members that were in this room and very respectful tonight. And I really hope this project goes through. We need this.
Testing. Hello, my name is Luke. I am 34 and I've never used ChatGPT in my life. I expect everybody to be on that standard. I wasn't going to speak tonight either. But then that ChatGPT clown came up here and just lit a little fire under my ass to come on up. I'm going to be as nice as I can. I think this is a terrible idea. I could repeat myself, and I probably should, because we have to keep doing this. We have to keep reminding these guys why we don't want this data center here. So feel free to repeat yourself if you have an important message to say about your community. And it's going to take our community to be able to get through this. I don't have a script in front of me, I'm just kind of off the cuff, but thanks to the guy who inspired me to come up here.
Just hang on for I think you have it. Go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Basket. I have some family that are in the union, so I am supportive of unions. However, I also do worry and have concerns about their health. Obviously, you guys risk a lot by going into these jobs, but I also wonder if CyrusOne has anything in their contracts for accidents or deaths that happen on the job as well. And I hope that there is something in the contract, but I know from doing my research, without ChatGPT, you can disable it. It's really hard, but it's annoying. But you can. That a lot of times when these data centers are going through and there are deaths or accidents on the job, not only is the job delayed to where I don't know if you guys are getting paid during that, delay in that time, but then a lot of times with the big companies, they don't always pay out to the families as well. I think that should be a concern as well. I think there's a lot of good points made here tonight, and I hope, if you are a union worker, please do have an open mind and try to, be open to other opinions and things like that. There are a lot of good points on both sides. I really think both for the environmental and impacts on any individuals working there and or will be affected in the communities at large, it can affect everyone. So do your part for your community and really try hard for it. That's what I'd say.
Yes. Not you, but the lady behind, did you want to speak? If you've spoken already, you are, okay, all right, that's our last public speaker. Our rules allow that everyone who spoke once has an opportunity to speak again if they feel they need to rebut something, and they have 1 minute to speak. You've both spoken, but you can now speak again, but you have 1 minute to speak this time. Go ahead.
In the age of AI, it will no longer matter what is true, but what one can be made to believe. And those who can make you believe falsehoods can make you commit atrocities. Our minds atrophy as machines replace our most basic human task, from the abacus to the invention of writing, as Socrates said. Our land is a breadbasket, not a cybernetic dump, not a dystopian blemish on this great, God-fearing country. And for better or worse, modern agriculture is fossil fuel-based. Your children cannot eat data. How quickly was the war on terror won? The Strait of Hormuz seized 20% of all global petrochemicals, fertilizers, and helium involved in silicon chips, aluminum, and other foundational materials with which society is precariously built pass through a total of 2 miles at what is already a geostrategically narrow choke point. I can already see the increased bills from engaging in unpopular forever wars being kicked to the American taxpayer indefinitely.
That's time. Thank you. Next person.
If a data center were coming to your district, you wouldn't want it because your constituents wouldn't want it for one reason, because good neighbors don't mow their lawn 24/7. And that's what baseline sounds like outside. The cooling and fans alone without generators going are the same decibels as a lawnmower, but it never stops running. If you wouldn't want it in your district, don't vote to put it in your neighbor's. Based on our current zoning, the next data center building could be built exactly 3 football fields from your front door. Imagine a data center, like the one some of you saw in Aurora, but 6 times bigger, being constructed 300 yards away from your home. That's a fact of our zoning, not a threat. But if it feels like a threat, that's your subconscious telling you to update our data center zoning. Let's not move fast and break things. We can't take back a yes tonight, but we may always change a no. So pause this vote for now. Thank you.
So if you go out to buy a car and you have your credit checked at this dealership and that dealership and the other dealership, your credit rating goes up. Well, when these data centers try to do permits, they do here, 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 and here, and that spikes the grid. It's not the coal mines that are closing, because those coal mines are closing because they're old and they're outdated. It's the data centers that are spiking the grid, and that's where our utility rates will go up. You need to understand that. And who's going to pay for our utility bills that are raised? Who's going to pay for our hospital bills? That's what you need to understand. Thank you.
In due deference to the gentleman who said, what if, what if, what if, the what ifs are happening in other communities.
Can you get a little closer to the microphone there?
The what ifs are happening in communities across this country. There are people dealing with their houses cracking because of the vibrations due to the noise. And for them to diminish going, oh, it's so close, there's only a few houses, screw you, those people matter too. My mission statement is this: in due deference to the golden rule, I reworded it so that scumbags can't get away with saying, I do nice things while they're horrible human beings. My golden rule is this: don't do anything you don't want done to you. Not a single one of you wants this. You would not build one by your house either, so don't do it to us.
I don't think you have either. Did you speak before? Go ahead, you can speak. Yeah. I know, but this is rebuttal for those who have spoken. Please.
I'm also talking about the what ifs. I am sick and tired of living in a reactive state. We have the opportunity to be proactive. We have the opportunity to be good stewards. And I'd like to remind the board that you are going to vote and reveal your priority tonight. Cyrus 1 or Sangamon County.
Just wait, you didn't speak in the first round. You spoke before. Please go ahead. Yeah, the gentleman, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've heard a lot on both sides tonight. Everybody has valid arguments. I'll just say this in rebuttal to the things that have been said. If you can't bring yourselves to vote no, at least bring yourselves to delay this and let the state of Illinois, working with labor, working with environmental groups and others, put in meaningful regulations so that these things are built with everyone's best interest in mind if they're going to be built in this state. Thank you.
Wish to speak in rebuttal. All right. We'll make a special exception, give you one minute to make you'll be the last public speaker.
Thank you. I would like everyone to appreciate the fact that Cyrus 1 was very eager to let everyone know that they did not accept a tax incentive for this. That is because they do not need one. They are not a charity, they are a business, they are in this for money. To the union workers that are here tonight, they're not giving you jobs, they are using your labor and selling the rest of us out.
Okay, That concludes the public speaking portion of the meeting. Well, you want, all right, 1 minute rebuttal.
Hello, I want to talk about the disrespect that we have been apparently giving to the other side. The last time that this was held in this facility, all of the union members decided to get up and leave before coming our side. So I would please like to note that, and thank you.
All right, that concludes the public input portion of the meeting. By our rule adopted earlier today, we'll now give 5 minutes for the organized opponents to make final statements, if you wish to make some statements, and then 5 minutes from the proponents.
You have 3 choices: yes, no, or pause. What's your real job? To evaluate this using standards Illinois laws required for 70 years. They're called the LaSalle factors after the name of the case. You have to consider this along with what is the existing use in zoning. Well, we know what that is. It's agricultural. You have to consider it along with the impact on property values. You heard from the folks that live around there. You know what that impact is. You have to make a decision as to the public welfare, but the first question you have to ask is whose welfare? The single property owner selling off the land for money? The billionaire tech bros from Texas? Or is it the residents of Sangamon County? You have to do a balancing of benefit and cost. Benefit for Sangamon County, not Macoupin County, not Morgan County. You have to determine the suitability of the property for its currently zoned purpose. Its currently zoned purpose is for agriculture. This is a use entirely inconsistent with that. Entirely inconsistent. You have to look at community need. Neither Cyrus nor the county staff have produced the teensiest shred of evidence that there's a community need for this proposed use. Staff claims no need to pause. We've already had 15 board meetings, endless debate, yet key questions are still not answered, precisely because staff and board leaders are trying to suppress getting answers about anything that matters under the rubric of, well, that's not specifically mentioned as a factor in our narrowly drawn minimal zoning ordinance. You have a job to do, and it's not easy. Approve it, deny it, delay it. Lots of talk about energy tonight. Again, every single piece and shred and megawatt of power that we have constructed with solar and wind in 3 counties is going to be eaten up completely and entirely by this one project to make money for Cyrus One. That's not what we built that for. You're told that you have to say yes because if the ZBA approved it, your only job is to rubber stamp it yes, because they filled out the 10-page form. I'm telling you there's an immense difference between a data center defined in our zoning regulation that's maybe small enough, quiet enough, clean enough to operate consistently with already permitted uses in this district. And one that is proposed that's so immense, so almost staggeringly, incomprehensibly immense that it's entirely inconsistent, obliterating 280 acres forever that can never be reclaimed, causing constant noise 24/7, 365 days to the adjacent livestock farms, and its ill effect on livestock and people, the already permitted uses. We have, again, risks that are real and benefits that are not guaranteed. We don't know really what jobs are going to be provided, just what they promise. What about Aurora? What about all the noise and problems and lawsuits there? You're afraid of being sued by CyrusOne on this board? You ought to be more afraid of being sued by the residents of Sangamon County. Your job tonight is to consider the health, safety, and public welfare of the citizens of this county, not the profits, not the tax revenues for North Mac schools in Macoupin County, not repairs to Waverly Lake in Morgan County, but for Sangamon County. Thank you.
Final 5 minutes for the program.
First of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's come out tonight to oppose or support the project. It's an impressive showing of interest and passion in this consideration. So I appreciate all of the opinions shared and thoughts shared tonight. And thank you to the county board members for all of your time throughout the past several months. I've heard bare minimum mentioned a couple times with respect to what we've tried to bring here. I would hope that would not be the adjective we'd use to describe this process. I know the amount of interest you've shown in this is far beyond that, and we've tried to match that. And in our meetings with community members, stakeholders, the utilities, the fire district, to find ways to solve problems together. There is a way to align a private investment with public need. Waverly Lake was just mentioned. That lake serves 900 people, from what I also learned tonight. Those are people in Sangamon County and Morgan County. Because the lake serves the Apple Creek Water Cooperative, which serves residents in both counties. We want water, reliable water. We need water as well. Our facilities are built for 30, 40, 50 years. A lake that is becoming less and less available in terms of capacity is obviously, not great for us as well. And so they have a real need to improve the capacity of that lake, to restore the capacity of the lake, and to improve the overall ability of that lake to serve its residents. There's no funding available for that right now. There's none. And there's very few, there's not programs available to accomplish that. We're aligning our private investment in that public project to take that water scarcity and that water risk off of the table. Sure, it benefits us, but it also benefits the 900 people that are served by that lake. The same can be said for our other commitments, our commitments to the fire districts. We want the people coming, the first responders coming to our facility, to have the equipment and the things that they need to serve the project. We've committed to buy a ladder truck for Verdant. And so that will give them the resources that they need to serve our facility and the other residents that they serve throughout the area. Our investments in fiber, obviously they serve us, but they unlock the ability for residents all throughout the county and neighboring counties to access high-speed internet service so they can do the things that they want to do or increase their capacities to work from home or do other things that they want to do. And finally, our alignment with the unions and with labor. Yes, we do require their work, but we want, these are 4 to 6 year commitments. I've heard it before in all these conversations about temporary workers. These are temporary jobs. The entire construction industry is temporary in nature. Providing people a place to work for the next 4 to 6 years is unusual and valuable to the people coming to work. It's vastly important for the people that work in this industry. And we see it every single day because these are people that we see every single day. We're 700 people. We're some of 700 people that work for CyrusOne. We're regular people doing a job and doing a job to serve the digital economy that we all operate within. And so we see the impact we have on the unions and on our tradespeople, and it's work that we're proud of. And we're proud to bring to this community here. And finally, being able to bring an additional investment to the local nonprofits and feed a new workforce, a new apprentices to come into the trades is important. And then also supporting early childhood STEM education programs for people who maybe won't work in the trades, but might work as a tech, might work in IT, might work in AI related industry. These are things where we're aligning our private investment up with public needs. It's the idea of bringing good partnerships together. There is a way to have responsible, transparent development without NDAs, without tax abatements. This is possible, and it's what we've achieved to do throughout this entire process. And so, once again, I sincerely, county board members, thank you for your for all the time and the discussions we've had individually and as a group, and throughout the course of these various public meetings. I sincerely thank you, and again, once again, thank you to everybody who came out tonight. We greatly appreciate it.
Okay, the hour is late. There has been much conversation over the past 14 public hearings, but it is my obligation now to ask if there are members of the board who have questions or comments that they wish to make. Mr. Hall.
Jack, thank you. I have the privilege to represent this district of District 7. I live in Talkington Township. I know these neighbors. I know this land. I know the smell of this land. Our township is doing well. We did not increase our tax levy this year, and the year before, because we don't need to. We don't have a spending problem. Or I'm sorry, we don't have an earning problem. Some people have spending problems. Our township is frugal. That's who we are. And I'm thankful for you to go to the fire departments and to other bodies to offer equipment. And I asked our board of trustees to our township, do we want to approach the company to see if there's anything we could benefit? And I was really proud when they said, we're not for sale. I would like to ask this board to listen tonight, and I would like to ask if we could take another vote to table this. Please. Am I out of going to the attorney? Am I asking for anything I shouldn't be asking for to the attorney?
Motion to table is always in order, it just needs a second.
Is there a second, please?
Motion to table is not debatable. Motion to table, the clerk will call the roll.
Anderson.
Yes.
Cameron.
Yes.
Constant.
Yes.
Dabsco.
Yes.
Diener.
No.
Elgiorno.
No.
Deppie.
Yes.
Douglas Williams.
Yes.
Forsythe.
Yes.
Frazee.
No.
Fulgenzi.
Yes.
Guyton.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Krill.
No.
Latham.
No.
Madonia.
No.
McGuire.
No.
Mendenhall.
Yes.
Miller.
No.
Rader.
No.
Scaife.
Yes.
Shepherd. Shepherd.
Yes.
Small.
Yes.
Stump.
No.
Thomas. Chum. Truex.
No.
15 yes, 13 no.
The matter is tabled. We take up the next resolution on the board's agenda, which is resolution 4, Mr. Clerk. I'm sorry. Resolution 4, Mr. Clerk.
Resolution 4, resolution approving the procurement of goods and/or services for the Sheriff's Office and State's Attorney's Office from Accent Enterprises for the purpose of EWCs, tasers, in-car video cameras, and justice software in the amount of $2,423,815.67.
Motion by Mr. Chummerland, seconded by Mr. Stump, place resolution 4 before the board. Questions or comments from members of the board on resolution 4? Seeing none, Mr. Madone, you give a motion.
I move that the roll call vote for resolution Wednesday, the roll call vote resolution.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Resolution 4 is adopted. Resolution 5, Mr. Clerk.
Number 5, text amendment to Sangamon County Code 5.04 and amending sections 5.04.040, 5.04